The gloves are coming off. We're about to go full court press. It's time to play ball. Listen in as we tackle everything in the world of sports right now. Throw your hat in the ring at 516-572-7440. Huddle up. This is WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
All right, sports fans, coming at you 100% commercial-free every Thursday evening from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. right here on 90.3 WHPC, WHPC, HG. We come from a little place called Garden City, New York, and we like to call ourselves WHPC Sports Talk. There you go.
I was replacing Mark.
That's good. Very good. My name is Chris Muldoon, and that first voice you hear over there is the introverted extrovert, Josh Silverberg.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Glad to be here.
I read someone describe themselves as that the other day. I'm like, all right, I'm going to use that at some point.
Use it at this point.
It's like, all right, I'm an introverted extrovert. Okay, there you go. Right over there, KBH Mist, the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Boston Hill.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
And you can hear him twice on Thursdays. You can hear him this afternoon with the NCC Forum. Over here, his name is Tristan Hamilton.
How you guys doing tonight? Good night. Good night.
I didn't see you wearing camouflage. I can't see
you.
Welcome to another Thursday night. Great. It's going to be a great show.
Yeah, it certainly
You know, if
is.
they move the seats further away from him.
I decided to get between you guys this evening.
Well, I could usually say that I would say that Mark Dukowski is looking for some papers in the back. He's actually across the street at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum watching John Tavares play in his Maple Leafs pajamas. So,
Dear John.
They did show a tribute video to him.
That was
10 minutes
expected to
into the
happen.
game.
Yeah, they said that was going to happen.
And that's for future free agents. You have to do that to show that you're future free agents. You're not about the stupidness of.
But there were some fans, and I don't know if you were watching. There were some fans that were clapping. They showed a few of them, and even the Rounders were.
He went home. At the end of the day, he went home. So I don't fault the guy for going home, especially you're going to the Mecca. Toronto is the Mecca of hockey, even though they haven't won since 1968. And he went home. It'd be the same thing. You know, you can't fault a guy for wanting to go home. Like who was it? My son mentioned someone today to me.
Well, Mark Messier went to Vancouver.
He
was 37.
He said, "Let's go," but he wasn't in Vancouver. He took the money. He did what Roger Clemens did. Took the money and ran north of the border. But my son said, let's see how the Maple Leafs feel if Austin Matthews goes to Phoenix, because he's from Arizona.
Well, Gary just signed an extension, so he just signed a
he's not going anywhere.
But I was talking. I work at a school, and there was a teacher that's an Islander fan. He's a massive Islander fan, and he was a realist. He said, if it were up to me, I would have traded him last year, and I would have gave him the ultimatum when you traded him, saying, hey, look, we're going to trade you because we're not going anywhere right now. And if you love us that much, sign with us in free agency then. And they got nothing for him. And they're just, look at what the Rangers just did with Zuccarello. He didn't want to leave, but you trade these guys because they didn't sign anything on the dotted line.
But that's a different fan base. It would have sent the wrong signal to the Islander fan base.
No, of course.
Because they're trying to build a stadium.
The thing is, too, and the reason why I understand that with the whole same thing, and I get that and everything like that, but at the same time, the amount of assets they could have gotten back for him would have been astronomical, and then you could have gave him the ultimatum of, if you love us that much, because we're not making the playoffs this year, you haven't signed on the dotted line yet, sign with us in free agency, and then we could build something. We brought in Trotz. We got Lamoriello, although Lamoriello's getting praise. And Lou Lamoriello's one of the best executives, not just in the New York area, and arguably in sports, one of them. And, but let's face it, Barry Trotz he's the savior of that team right now with the way he's coached.
Well, I did
like
one chant they were saying, we don't need you, which is true. They don't need you.
You know what, though? But see, it's just things like that.
But it's a metaphor for what's happening in baseball and what will happen with football. We have the Bryce Harper signing today. And
it's going to happen actually with the Knicks, with Porzingis.
Jets, all the money they have to spend, and the draft. So first we'll start with Bryce Harper here. Bryce Harper going to the Phillies, 13 years.
God.
Was it
330 mil, 13 years, no deferrals, which is what no trade clause, none of that.
He gets a no trade clause, a full no trade clause,
right?
Which you want to have.
Yeah, but you want to have because
he gets no opt-outs. But opt-outs are make-believe anyway. Opt-outs are such make-believe they throw to a player to make it feel like he's getting something.
I think Martinez might take that next year with Boston. Maybe.
Well, that's not like the Cespedes 1-year opt-out deal was a good thing, but these other 5-year like the A-Rod opt-out deal should never have happened except for one dumb owner. That's what happened there. But opt-out deals are just it's stuff that there's certain things you do in sales techniques where you're really giving away nothing, but it seems like you're giving something. Yeah, I can't give it. I cannot give you an opt. No, I can't give you an opt-out. All right, I'll give you an opt-out. That's the kind of thing where it makes like you're giving something, but you're really not giving anything. Average annual value is the thing to me that really matters. And
the Dodgers offered him the most.
Machado.
45. They were offering. I think it was 4 years.
Machado's beating him.
$45 million a year.
And Arenado was beating him as well. So
$45 million for 4 years from the Dodgers would have been astronomical.
He's getting the 13 years because Boris has to look like he's won. It was what I said last week. Like the price is right. You got to add $1, so he got the extra 3 years.
Yeah.
The last 3 years are nothing. They're $10 million a year.
The Giants
nothing.
12
Great
years
for us.
The Giants get 12 years at $310.
True, but here's the thing that you're forgetting: it's all guaranteed.
That's very
so unless he decides to just out and out retire and walk away from the game before the 13 years is up, he's getting all that money anyway. So the average annual doesn't really make a difference.
It's all coming to him. And you know what? You'd rather get paid up front than you would get paid later on. And he's got a very front-loaded contract.
13 years in Philadelphia.
But it's a weird thing because it just seems like the Giants and the Dodgers.
That would have been a better option for him, in my opinion, only because L.A., I think, obviously is there, and it's more of a low-key city. The fans will love you. They won't heckle you.
It means in 2 years,
this is going to be a big thing for him.
Mike Trout and Mookie Betts contracts are up, and granted, they're both going to be
I don't even know if I'd give
1
those guys
and 3 years
13
older
years.
than these. Mike Trout, he can have whatever you want.
No,
Here, Mike,
I
just
don't
fill
know
in whatever you
not
need.
even him.
I feel like that's clearly the best player in baseball.
Whatever you need,
Mike. Listen, he is, but I wouldn't give anybody 13 years.
Yeah,
Mike Trout's not going to get 13 years.
Nobody's ever worked
that's Bobby Bonilla country.
What does Stanton have?
With the Yankees?
Then they had 10.
10.
But it was an extension.
It was a 10-year extension.
Yeah,
so it was even,
but 13
so he had,
and all I mean, you expect him to survive 13 and look what happened with take Ryan Howard for example. The first 2 years that were great.
And do you see him on TV
great.
now? He's
and then the last 7 years were just awful. They treated Howard like
I think that's more of what was around him.
Ryan Howard was also a guy who he was the same age as Wright. He came up being PED tested every step of the way. So he logically had the breakdown of a 35-year-old baseball player.
But that's the thing, though. See,
that's what it was. He broke down like a 35-year-old baseball player.
Loved him. They wanted him locked up. Give him this. Give him
big.
Great.
He's a
awesome. They gave it to him.
Though.
And the last 6 years of that deal were Phillies fans heckled the snot out of him. They couldn't get rid of him. Nobody wanted him. And listen, Bryce Harper's not Ryan Howard, but Bryce Harper is not a guy that has ever dealt with the pressure, I think, in this situation that he's going into in Philadelphia. He's going into a different animal that he dealt with in Washington, where it was very low-key. The fan base was, it was okay, because they're not big on baseball there. That's the reality. Philadelphia, they'll get you.
Yeah, they do, and
they'll eat you alive. No, they will. I've been there before. They'll eat you alive. It's sort of a
second city in terms of I don't even buy into, because if you look at all the problems that ever happened in Philadelphia, it's kind of like a kind of it's an kind of place. It's not gonna. Yeah, they booed Santa Claus and they have prisons in the jails. And
I'm going there this year.
Listen,
for the Eagles Jets game.
I want to experience Phillies game.
Yeah,
they'll kill you, man.
What?
You're in the stands.
I was talking about the Phillies game.
You're in the stands.
I'm about to go to the Eagles game, Jets and Eagles this year. I'm gonna have fun.
Chris,
yeah, I'm gonna have fun.
Chris, I was 12, and I had a 35-year-old man screaming and cursing at me.
At you.
And I wasn't even wearing any Met
But not
gear.
a guy making $30 million out there on the field. I don't care about $30 million.
They're crazy animals because that's what they do.
Yeah, but that's just a bunch of
idiots.
Yeah,
and that's what. No offense,
but a guy who's
getting people listening. Most of them are.
But that's what fanatic is.
They're animals.
Right.
They're animals.
That's what fan is short for.
Fan is short for fanatic for a reason.
The mascot, for heaven's sake, he will.
Which is why I say
on people that wear away jerseys. He pees on them as a joke.
It's so stupid because it's a bunch of guys.
Grady looks like a weirdo.
Grady's very popular though.
God almighty, stripping at the Winter Class or whatever there was the other day.
But the thing is, that's just stupid fans who've never played the game, who have never make any kind of money.
See, they're stupid fans, and then I put stupid fans, and then for me, I mean, look, let's be honest with you. After the Eagles won the Super Bowl, They're eating horse
But they
poop.
expected that. We all expected
They're
that.
eating
But
horse
we knew
poop,
that.
Chris.
One guy who gets on
They're eating horse
camera,
poop.
you cannot.
But we expected that.
You cannot-
You expect somebody to eat horse
No,
poop?
no, we expected Philly. We expected Philly to just go
Buttering
crazy.
up the lamppost and going nuts?
I know. I have a friend that just moved back to New York from Philly, and she lived very close to where the parade was, and really close to the actual the stadium and stuff. And she was like, it was crazy, but they expected that. Everybody when that's what you're used to, it looks crazy to us, but in Philly that was.
You know who doesn't do that? People who have jobs, which is the silent majority.
Yeah.
People who have jobs don't have to
They're
post
home.
viral
Yeah.
things or whatever. They're too busy going about their lives.
I
and
love
what they're
Philadelphia.
doing.
I went
Raising their kids
I went
and
to
whatever.
Philadelphia a year ago with my fiance. We went down a trip a year ago. We saw the Liberty Bell. We did everything. Love all that stuff. And then we went to. It was actually coincidental. We were like one night. We were like, hey, let's go to the 76ers game. The tickets were like $5, and there was a guy in the stadium wearing a suit. And he was like, hey, you guys want courtside seats? And I'm like, what's the catch? No catch. Just you can have them. And he worked for the Sixers, and he gave us tickets. We sat courtside. And that was like the coolest thing in the world. Granted, they were horrible at that time.
Yeah.
It was literally, they were awful. Ben Simmons, that was the year they drafted Simmons, and it was bad.
And Embiid still wasn't.
But Embiid still wasn't
healthy
fully
yet.
there yet. But you know what? I mean, it's just like, I've been to Philadelphia for sporting events, and it's just like, it's the perception. And it's a matter of, listen, if you stink, Philadelphia, like I said, they're a passionate fan base. Harper has not dealt with that for 13 years, no less.
But who does deal with that? Like, what baseball players get in this day and age get their athletes get their careers ruined by the fans? Who are they going to say? Sonny Gray pitched pretty well on the road last
Jason
year,
Bay.
and he wound up in a good place. But Jason Bay was just at the end of his career.
I don't think so.
No,
He had a good year with Boston the year before. He wasn't at the end of his career. He had a very good year with Boston the year before.
Yeah, but
and he came to New York and
see, that's what you
stunk it
don't
up.
get.
That's
You
the
don't get
stadium.
the guys like you don't get it with Jay Lowry either. You have a good career, but you get old, and then all of a sudden
I understand it completely.
Down.
I get it.
That
Trust me,
stadium-
I
that
get the idea
stadium
broke down.
Jason Bay out a
No,
lot.
I get it completely. I get the old age asset of it. Trust me.
Do you remember when Jason Bay, when he came to New York, and how many home runs he looked back at and was surprised that it got caught in
it was the same.
I was at the game where Jason Bay ran to the wall.
because he was used to Boston,
Right.
and he was looking. He's like, "Wait, that's not out."
That's before they moved the fence.
And then
Yeah.
he was cold. He had a real cold bat in the Met Stadium, but in Boston, he would have probably had another good year because he had a lot of deep pop outs that season. And it was just
the Philly Stadium is known for being a home run stadium.
Cincinnati
right?
Park is right field.
They're
Yeah,
going to say that.
Trust me, I understand the
Play
idea
soccer.
of old age. I get that, but when Bay signed, he was still 32.
Also,
so he wasn't old. Like,
but the thing is, everybody ages different.
But Granderson came.
age is different. But
Granderson came at that age and was fine.
But in sports, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady's like a year apart.
No, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
Age
yeah.
different,
Yeah,
so
you
it depends on the person. How you,
It all depends on how the person reacts, how they take everything, and it's all on
how they keep their body throughout the years.
How is their perception towards negativity? That's really the
look at the other players that was in LeBron's class. We're saying bye to D Wade now. We know LeBron got probably
Tracy McGrady.
Everybody's saying bye. And
Little Penny Hardaway. They were done because we forget how when you play at a young age, it's the whole collective toll on your body.
People don't count. Everybody want to count once you step into college or
NFL
if it was
career.
just the NBA or professional.
Career,
They don't count the years before. That was a lot of toll on your body also.
And Jason Bay was from Canada, so he was traveling all over to get to games. He wasn't. Granderson's from Chicago. They didn't have to go far for a game.
No.
It's like,
but then it's like guys that do develop when they get older. And I'll do a hockey example. Like Marty St. Louis came to the Rangers when he was 37. Yeah. St. Louis was very clutch for the Rangers when they had that cup run.
But every now and then,
guys like
but
that.
he was a third line guy.
Yeah.
No, they put him on the second line on the winger.
That's the thing. You're not. They have lines. They have other guys.
Yeah, but they traded all those assets to get him, and he scored 15 goals with them in that amount of games that he did, and he scored 8 goals after his mother died. So you got to take that into account.
Because no one's ever scored goals after their mother died. But no, that's the whole hockey.
That's
in hockey thing, whenever they give us, it's hockey playoffs. This is where every hockey playoff, there's going to be a guy somebody dies, no matter what team it is. Somebody's relative dies, the sister, a father, a mother. There's also a guy who breaks his hand but plays the next game, or breaks his leg and plays the hockey game. Watch the playoffs every year.
I watch the playoffs every year, and there's times when I see it.
So you got to have the death story. You got to have the death story, the broken hand, or the broken leg. It's one of the three.
And they play
you're
through
gonna
it
get
every time. And look, I like the St. Louis like I said, his mother had a sudden heart attack. He played that night, scored a goal. They gave it a go against Pittsburgh when the Rangers were down 3-1. He carried them. It's age, and it's a certain thing like that I respect as an age. As you get older, and I can respect that. Guys like Curtis Granderson in the World Series.
But people don't think Granderson lived up to his Yankee.
A credit to what you said too, Chris, and what I noticed a lot. Even though it's unfortunate with death, the death stories always come when the player is
Isaiah Thomas' sister
playing good, because that's the story that has. We killed Dak Prescott all season long.
Right.
Once they get hot, we start seeing the story about his mother and all that, and it's just weird. It's just like that they use that as.
I've been doing this show long enough that every story I've seen, and I could put it in a box. Oh, okay. And the biggest one, we had the Bryce Harper today. Bryce Harper's wife hates Philadelphia. Remember that? You always get the free agent. Oh, they're never going there. Their wife hates it. That's not a true story. Their wife doesn't hate Philadelphia.
No, the story was when they go to Chicago, play with Chris Bryant, and play Bryant's wife.
He said the same thing about LeBron's wife and Cleveland.
Yeah, and now the story is that Ciara wants Russell Wilson out of Seattle.
She wants to go to New York.
That's no sense because the music's in L.A. It's like that's not in New York. It's I don't.
But if the Giants were to get Seattle, now we're talking about a different situation.
It's not going to happen. He'd never leave in Seattle.
I don't know if I would say that.
No, he would.
Seattle's got more recording
he's the face of that franchise.
He's the face of the franchise. But
he's not leaving Seattle.
Did you think Payton was going to leave the Colts?
But they cut him. They cut him.
Did you think Payton? All right, they cut him. But did you ever? Could you imagine Peyton Manning on another team apart from the Colts before it happened? No, you can't. You can't.
But there were two huge things.
You don't know that.
It was a neck injury.
Why would they ever cut him?
It was a neck injury, and it was.
What if he gets a neck injury?
Best number one overall.
It's a completely different story. If he gets a neck injury, then it's an injury-related issue for cutting him.
But you just asked me why. There's different reasons of why it can happen.
But why would the Giants want to take on a guy that has a hurt neck that is a somewhat mobile quarterback? That's the thing I want to.
I'm talking about in general.
Manning can play in the pocket.
All right.
No. We never could foresee a situation where Peyton Manning would leave.
Did you see in that Super Bowl win?
There was the neck.
I mean,
and also Andrew Luck.
Yeah, really.
It was like, all right.
So what if Seattle has a really bad year, and then, for example.
When have they?
No. But hold on. What if Seattle has a real bad year, the year that the Clemson quarterback is supposed to come out?
Oh, well then.
And they're the number 1 and number 2 pick. We can't see Russell Wilson out of Seattle? This is what I'm saying. Anything can happen.
That's an interesting thing, because we've had a number of times where guys really, they say
Russell Wilson wasn't even supposed to be the starter of the Seahawks.
Right, of course.
Remember, they got all that money.
Yeah, well.
That's my point, exactly.
Which I'll never say this again. I respected Pete Carroll in that instance. I'll never say that again, by the way. I don't respect Pete Carroll for anything. But because he could have done the logical thing and honor the money if you pay this guy all the money.
Exactly.
No, he gave him a fair shot and he started him.
And people and then it's all about timing. Alex Smith was really good on the 49ers.
He was good.
No, he was good. He was good.
He was good.
That last year,
he was good. He was good. He was really good. I thought he was good
before he got hurt.
That was his ceiling, was that.
And then bye-bye. We're in the NFC Championship. Bye-bye. So for you saying that Russell Wilson, you can never look and say a quarterback will never probably leave a team for.
But who never leaves a free agent or get traded? But if it's an injury related, but why would the Giants then want to take on something like that? You don't think the Giants would have a quarterback before then?
Probably not. Because the Giants don't do things the right way.
Here's the thing with the Giants that I'm thinking, and it gets into the combine. And Kevin's a big Giants fan, so he'll have an opinion on this.
Yeah.
I hear
Trent Haskins. Would you?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, all right, they pick 6, right? Haskins could be there. But
he's going to talk about Murray.
No. They really like that Oregon quarterback Herbert, Justin Herbert, who's out there next year.
Yes, along with Fromm and Tua.
No, Fromm is there. Tua's there. Yeah, so they can but not the Clemson kid because he's
the year after.
So they can really let this year play out, and they can go and get Herbert next year. The thing is, now you got that whole narrative. Oh, another year where the Giants didn't draft themselves a quarterback, and they're stuck and they're married to Eli.
I don't know. The Jets said they asked him, "Would you be willing to even trade with the Giants?"
I said yes.
We're listening to everything, and I got so happy.
No way the Jets see the Jets are just like the Mets are the little kid, the little brother, just like the Nets are the little brother, just like the Islanders are the little brother. Just like when you're the little brother, you cannot trade with the big brother. Because you're gonna get killed.
I get that, but the thing is, what the Giants. I can understand if it was related to maybe position-wise, but what the Giants want, won't have. There's nothing that the Giants could get at third that the Jets really want at third.
No,
everything that the Giants really need. It's not like the Jets really need.
Though. I think teams are going to trade, or I think Arizona's going to trade Rosen.
I think 1 and 2 now is going to be a quarterback, and Rosen was the guy the Giants wanted.
Did you see what he did? He deleted all of his Cardinal stuff. I think he wants out at this point. He wants out.
All I know is Cliff Kingsbury gave that fateful quote in October, right, saying, "If I picked number 1 overall, I would draft Kyler Murray." Right?
I knew when they hired him.
The Cardinals go and get Cliff Kingsbury and made him their coach.
Yeah.
This kid they measured him today. 5'10". 5'10's not bad.
No, it's not.
207. 207 is a good number.
Smidget tall, smaller than Russell Wilson.
Anything above 205 is good.
Yeah.
Anything above 205 is good. And everything about this kid is that he's done it all.
He's going number 1.
He's done it all.
That did it. When I saw that today, I said, "That's it. The Cardinals are going to trade Rosen for this guy."
And if they do,
because the Cardinals will regret it later on if it doesn't happen.
If you're telling me the Jets could get Bosa, I'm fine.
Well, 2 becomes a thing because 2 is the Niners, right? The Niners do not need a quarterback to get Jimmy Garoppolo coming off an ACL, right?
So they will put probably the best talent, right?
So who's at 2? You need another logical quarterback to drop down to 2. Is that Jones out of
Haskins?
Duke?
Jacksonville could trade up.
I mean, Haskins. We know Haskins is top 5 talent right
trade up.
What's that?
No, because the 49ers, they got Garoppolo and they're ready to work. But
they'll trade out.
Antonio Brown made it clear that he wants to go there.
I think
they'll trade out.
I hope they trade with the Giants.
See, regardless, if Murray goes 1,
if they want to do Brown for that number 2 overall pick, that's a fair deal.
Yeah,
Antonio Brown is worthy of a first round pick. Yeah, so that's a fair. It's not going to happen, but that's a fair deal.
I want the Giants and the 49ers to trade, and so the Giants can go get their quarterback, and we sit at third and say, "Come here, Bosa."
See, I would say
green Bosa
because if Murray goes 1. At least the Jets now. Okay, so Bosa say goes to the 49ers. Okay, then Josh Allen then falls to the Jets.
I think we're getting Josh Allen. If we don't trade, we're going to pick up Josh Allen.
If they get Bosa or Allen, that's a perfect scenario. And another guy falls to McCaffrey.
Pass rusher and offensive lineman and a wide receiver.
So more than one thing.
Yes.
That's why you trade that pick for other guys. They need bodies. They need good talent.
But the money...
First, second, third round starting talent.
Yeah.
So the Raiders have 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
I go to the Raiders, and I'm like, hello, Raiders. I get the old-time phone. Hello, Raiders.
And you know why? And you know why I think the Jets might not trade out, and they're going to get Josh Allen, even though they said it? Did you hear what the news is today, which I found... I almost got upset, but I'm like, let me go into this year positive. The Jets this year... defensively, will be running the 3-4 again.
I can't with Greg Williams.
With Greg Williams, they're going to be running 3-4. When I saw that, I said, "Are you serious?"
Yeah.
But this is what I calmed down and I said, when you look at what he has, can he run a 4-3? He doesn't have the players to run a 4-3
was John
defense.
Abraham during your time? You're a young guy. Do you remember John Abraham? John Abraham was a game changer.
He
was a game changer.
That's the one that played for the Falcons?
They needed John Abraham.
Yeah.
That's the one that played for the Falcons?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I remember.
They needed John Abraham.
You know what I was thinking, though? When you said that if Bosa falls to the Jets, I said, how many years in a row now does a player
who should have
fall
been
to McCaffrey? Leonard Williams,
But this is the
Jamal
thing,
Adams, Sam Darnold. Every year McCaffrey goes, he had a great draft, McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But no,
a 4-3 pass rush is different from a 3-4 pass rush. And Josh Allen has played in 3-4. That's all you know. I think the Jets is getting Josh Allen.
It's also based.
I think it's done.
It's also based. They also said that they're going to now. Gase came out and said, "Yeah, we're going to run a 3-4." But Greg has a lot of base different packages that he's going to do. So you're going to say yes, 3-4. But knowing Greg Williams and a mad scientist that he is, he can always change things up in games and things like that.
You can make things look. Listen, it depends on who you're going against. But look at all the guys they have too. They fit the 3-4. That's the problem. You can't trade all these guys, and then you can't do it. That's what I said.
I agree with you. You have to
because you have the players for it. But you're talking about disguising. You can disguise to a certain level to a quarterback. The quarterback in our division. Tom Brady and stuff like that. So I just think you guys just got to go straight forward with the talent that's there.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is the Jets,
Henry Anderson could be brought back.
The Jets need players, and if you can change a 3rd overall into extra guys,
you have to.
They kind of have to.
I said they have to. That's why when you asked, and I was the first one that said they need to trade down.
Haskins grew up a Giants fan, so it just seems too logical that he's the guy for the Giants.
Okay,
there's so many defensive linemen available. That's
like Farrell into the second round.
But we don't need those. That's the thing about the Jets. We don't need those those second-tier guys. We don't need
But how do you know
that.
the second-tier guys? Farrell was outstanding in the national championship, but he's going 8th overall.
They do a thing every like when you look at they say what do they call that, the team's draft board.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what they do is they assign a grade to where they'd be, but they don't compare it to this year. They compare it to previous years.
Yeah.
So they'll look at a guy and say he's got a first round grade on him. He's got a second round grade. They're seeing the defensive guys go into like 45s.
Yeah.
Which is like the middle of the second round. So they can get themselves a good defensive player in the second round.
I want the top dog. I want the
top dog.
Yeah,
I'll get another good dog.
Yeah, no. I get what you're saying, but I just don't want to risk getting a top dog because
I mean, look, if they fell to 6th overall, 7th overall, right, and if say like, okay, quarterbacks,
well,
take it, and then I'll say Quinnen Williams. He falls a bit. If Ed Oliver kind of falls, or even Farrell. Farrell is still there. You then at that point have to say to yourself, yes, okay, the trade was worth it because then you get Clown Farrell, Rashawn Gary from Michigan. You get one of those two guys who dominate. Farrell dominated in the national championship game.
Do we have a caller on the line? Caller on WHPC Sports Talk? All right, so I guess I did.
It's probably Mark.
No, it was a 5. It was a.
Oh, never mind.
Hold on. Let's see. Nobody there? Nobody there? Hello? Nope. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Never mind. These phones.
Hey, it's trying to come in again.
Now we have 2 numbers coming. Wow.
We're popular.
Okay. Hello, caller? Hello, caller on Sports Talk.
Yeah, I wanted to get on.
Yeah, sure.
I'm actually watching while I'm talking to you, I'm watching the Ireland game.
There you go. What is it still 4? It's still 4-1?
Oh man, I hope every person in the Coliseum when Tavares came out booed the hell out of him.
Yeah, well, we know Mark, our co-host, is coming. Will be coming from the game.
6-1.
6-1.
Yeah,
but 6-1.
Yeah, but they also the thing is though, the both times they played Toronto, not to rain on the parade, the backup's been Anderson's been hurt.
Usually when I knew
that was going to happen.
The show, I sit down, I can't see Kevin. But last week Kevin was across from me.
Yeah.
So now I'm so used to sitting there, and I'm standing to him. I like looking at Kevin. That's much more than Josh. I look at Kevin.
My friends are going to the game tomorrow night against Washington.
Yeah, well, Josh was saying before the show that's going to be a big game.
It is because they both tied for first place right now. Yeah, but
I just hope the playoffs, because it's such an advantage. Like, I went to Clark High School. I grew up right next to Eisenhower. What an advantage to the Islanders when they play in the Coliseum. Why would they want to play playoff games in Brooklyn when nobody goes to the games?
Money. They've got Barclays needs to justify their investment, right? So that's what it is. That's what Barclays needs to make back their money. So that's what they're going to do. And the first round matchup would be at the Coliseum. If they go on further to the more money rounds, then the Barclays would reap the benefits.
Right. I watch all the Islander games because I grew up. I went to the first Islander game in the history of the Islanders against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Anyway, what do you think of the Islanders? I think the Islanders are a major sleeper. Nobody's talking about them. I put on the NHL Network.
A lot of people love them.
They lost 3 out of 4 the other day, and Calgary seems to be a really good team.
Eddie Olczyk loves
which just means that if Calgary makes the Stanley Cup playoffs, it means that it'll be June, and they'll still be wearing winter coats in Calgary. That's how cold Calgary is throughout the spring.
I'm down here in Florida, and the Islanders never get any kind of publicity at all.
Well, it's tough because you have the best team in hockey that is in your state. That's the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, Tampa Bay Lightning have over 100 points.
I'm over here on the East Coast. I would call the Tampa Bay Lightning the Rangers South. I mean,
they are Rangers South.
McDonough,
Strawman, Callahan, Miller, Girardi, the whole.
So now, do you go to any spring?
How far do you think the Islanders can go in the playoffs? Because I think the Islanders. I love their defensive game. I know we don't score a lot of goals, but
I watched their power play tonight though. And that first one, it was terrible. I was like watching a bunch of
their power play struggles, but they have a very. I mean, look, Barzell or as Tavares said, the kid that won the Calder last year.
What rank would they be if in the?
So right now, if they won tonight, they would be first in Metro. So then they would play They would then play the first wild card team, which I believe right now I want to say is Carolina, which would be okay.
They could beat that.
That would be okay.
Well, the question is, who would they face in the second round?
That would be the second round. That's when you get into Washington, Pittsburgh territory, and then after that, then you got to get to Tampa, Boston, Toronto again.
That's the cannon fodder stuff. The Islanders are good and playing really well. but I don't think they're in the same sentence.
They're not there
as
yet.
those
They're
other
getting
teams.
close.
Right,
They are.
right.
They are close. They need that. Like I said, they need that one.
Right, but that's why they're not getting the same level of publicity that a first
Montreal.
place team
So right now
should
they
be
play
getting.
Montreal.
Yeah, they've exceeded expectations.
Exactly. They've kind of outplayed themselves this year.
Right.
They weren't expected to be this good this year, this so soon. So in another year or two, maybe.
Exactly.
But right now, there's a little.
They got to get that. I mean, look,
It's
they
like
have Barzal and they have Leonard is playing his
Anders Lee
butt
is
off.
so good.
Anders Lee is so good. He's
their name guy.
He's a free agent.
He'll
I would hope he would sign. You know what I mean? They have guys. Now, like I said, they have very good. Look, Barry Trotz is a great coach. He just came off winning a Stanley Cup.
They got the Stanley Cup winning coach.
Look what happened in '94. The Raiders won the Stanley Cup. Mike Keenan left because of organization. It's the same issue. It's like things like that happen, and people go, "Oh, that's crazy. How can you let the guy go?" It happens. So right now they would play Montreal in the first round. They could definitely beat Montreal. That's my. It's after that you get to Washington, Pittsburgh, Carolina territory, and then if you make it that far, then you got Boston, and you got Tampa, and you got, Columbus did all those moves at the deadline. Columbus is still going to be there, and of course, Tortorella. Can you imagine a Tortorella-Barry Trotz series? Oh my God!
Now,
like a chess match.
Have you been on the East Coast of Florida? Have you been to any spring training games this year?
Yes, yeah. I was up in at the stadium where the Astros and Nationals play. It's a beautiful stadium. If you guys got, I'm going to the Yankee game on Wednesday, March 20th against the Astros.
Oh, I know my father-in-law was at the Mets game today.
You see, the Mets they just did the deal with St. Lucie. It's like $52 million something. They're putting in renovations for the stadium, so they finally got that approved. They're there till 2030 something.
It's funny how many teams
forever.
How many teams are playing in Arizona though now? Because a lot of teams have moved to Arizona that had been in Florida to the Cactus League from the Grapefruit League. Like the Dodgers were in Vero Beach, Florida, forever.
Right, that was a beautiful
Arizona.
stadium, Vero. I saw the Yankees play the Dodgers there. They're really people that live in Vero in Indian River County are really mad that the Dodgers split on
Right.
it.
And then now, if you got the West Coast of Florida, where where the Yankees play in Tampa, obviously, but Clearwater has the Phillies, and now they'll have Bryce Harper. So now all of a sudden, Clearwater becomes a place. Though actually, TripAdvisor, because I just had a conversation about this with someone from Canada today, TripAdvisor, 3 years in a row has voted Clearwater Beach the #1 beach in America, which I know nothing about because I've never been to the West Coast.
It's a beautiful beach. That's the Hooters on the beach there is the original Hooters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. No, I was talking to someone who lives in Toronto. They're driving down from Toronto to Clearwater next Thursday. And I said, because I know if you drive down from New York to Florida, usually you stay in like Virginia or North Carolina or somewhere.
But I used to stay in it would be North Carolina, Georgia area.
Yeah,
I would stay with my parents.
They're doing 2 stops. They're doing Erie, Pennsylvania and Charlotte, which is kind of funny because they got to do Erie, Pennsylvania coming down from Toronto. But then going back home, they're only doing 1 stop.
You take 95 all the way there.
Nuts.
That's what you just take 95 all the the way there.
But not if you're coming from Canada.
From Canada, it's different.
You're doing the old I-80 coming down through Michigan and Ohio and
it's a pain in the butt, pretty much.
Yep.
Listen, I enjoy listening to you guys.
Oh, thanks.
I'm like the biggest Islander fan. I was there from the beginning, so I was just really sad when the Islanders split to Brooklyn. I said, they're going to lose a lot of fans. A lot of the fan bases in Nassau and Suffolk County.
Yeah, it was a bad move from the
They had the perfect intersection though this year with a good team and putting fans in the seats at the Coliseum. Every game is sold out at the Coliseum now. So they got because it's a good team, because fans are hungry for hockey and alike. And when you have a winning team, the Islanders fans show up, and they're a cult.
That's the reality.
They're a cult within a cult. You're not going to the people of Nassau County weren't going to vote for extra taxes to let's take extra taxes for a new college. They didn't do that.
Right, I know, I understand. But listen, it's good talking to you. I'm going to the Yankee game on Sunday in Tampa against the Tigers. It will be on the Yes Network. So if you guys,
are you going to Lakeland or are you going to Tampa? Are you going to Tampa?
I'm going to Tampa.
Yeah, okay.
I'm driving over to Tampa. I leave in the morning. It's not too bad. I can get there in 4 hours from West Palm.
Same dimensions as Yankee Stadium.
It's a beautiful stadium. If you guys get to the West Coast, go to Legends Field. They really do a great job, and they got a nice bar in right field. You can sit at the bar and watch the game while you're... Now,
there's Legend Field and there's George Steinbrenner Stadium. Which is which? Which one do they play at?
It's the same. It's the same. They just changed the name.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And I know there's a high school in Tampa called George Steinbrenner High School as well, which is kind of funny.
Yep, they do. Wow, that's pretty good, But if you get over there, go there and sit in right field. It's pretty nice. They have a tiki bar there in right field at Legends Field. They do a good job there. They got a really nice stadium there. It's really pretty mint. So listen, go Islanders, and I watched St. John's tonight, and I thought they got screwed by the referees.
They played Xavier, right?
Yeah, lost.
Yeah, they I think the referees really screwed St. John's because they were calling fouls, and then they gave a technical on Chris Mullin because he crossed the line. It was just real. I was flipping back and forth with the Islander game to St. John because the game started at 6:30, but I thought the referees did a horrible job tonight. If you get a chance to see
I'll definitely see it. All right, well, thanks for calling. Thanks for checking in.
Yeah,
Enjoy
go
the game.
Islanders.
All the way from Florida. Thanks
Bye.
so much. Cheers. Bye. All right, there goes our friend from Florida, big fan. And we thank everyone calling. If you want to call, 516-572-7440, 516-572-7440. That's the number to call. I'd love to hear what's on your mind. I know there was someone who was holding for a long time on that call because I could see...
but again, going back to what you said about the Islanders, but Tavares thing, and I said it before.
Those stupid fan videos, please.
Well, no, I mean, but I mean,
News 12,
look, the report came out about Porzingis this week saying that he was not thrilled about the idea of playing with Durant and it's just adding on fuel to the fire. It's going to be the same thing next year when Porzingis comes back to the Garden. They're going to do the we don't need you. They're going to do all that. They're going to get mad. It's going to be anger. And it's frustration. But you know what? You let the game happen, and then you move on after that. But don't get too... And I was telling Mark before, I was telling my buddy, Lyle, who's a part of the Blue and Orange Army. I told him, and he agreed as well. I said, listen, do your chance. Do whatever you want. Don't get out of control. Don't do anything stupid. Don't do something dumb.
What does Long Island's own Jerry Seinfeld say about sports fans and their allegiance? Do you know what he says?
What?
His quote: "We root for laundry." At the end of the day, you're just rooting for uniforms.
Yeah.
You're rooting for the uniform.
Yeah.
It's a different player every time.
I mean, they did throw in
uniform.
snake, like with the idea, like the rubber snakes on the ice, and that's just stupid. Just
when are the Jets going to get their new uniform?
Listen, it's
We
6-1.
don't know yet, right?
Listen,
my son will be the first one to say.
The score is 6-1. You're winning. You beat them twice this year. You're in first place. Now you move on. You play the Capitals. You won the. I completely understand where the Honor fans are coming from.
Hand the ball to the
get
ref.
it.
It's
Look, my buddy, as I said loud, he's a Nationals and an Islander fan. He lost John Tavares and Bryce Harper in the last few months.
Yeah, and Bryce Harper, the Nationals didn't win anything with him. So
that's why I don't think it's a big deal with him going to the Phillies, because he had better teams with the Nationals that he was on.
And that outfield is scary good without him. The guys that
Soto and Robles and Eden, and
he was already in the NL East till staying in the NL East. Machado left the AL East for the NL West. So the American League has lost a good player. My dad was telling me that. My dad's like, you think it's such a big deal that the Phillies got Harper, but in the end, Harper's just going to a team that doesn't. They have talent, but not as much as he was on with Washington. And that's the reality. They have more talent. Washington. He's a Vegas kid staying to choose in the Northeast, which is interesting. But
that is interesting. I thought he would also with spring training in Arizona. That would be sway him a little bit.
I don't know where he lives year round though. So
I don't know. It seems like Vegas. I mean, everything was in Vegas.
I would think, but just in terms of for taxation, usually you live in Florida.
You don't stay in Washington
because spring training is there, and then you'll have your 183 days, so you get no state income tax.
And the Washington deal wasn't true. It was not. It was not. It was a lot. It was like apparently 100 million deferrals. Yeah, it was 100 million deferrals. So that offer that they threw out there was just garbage. It was 100 million deferrals. It was till he was 65. He was going to get paid.
So in the end, the teams that were interested in Machado or that offered Machado were the White Sox and the Padres. Anyone else?
Yeah. No, I think that was it. Then it was pretty much it. The Giants was. The Giants was 12 years, 310 for the.
But now let's look at the balance of power now in the NL East.
Yeah.
I mean, this looks like for all the Mets fans out there. I hate to say this, but it looks kind of tough now. I mean,
it's a 4-team race.
It looks tougher than it did.
Yeah.
Because even if the Mets finish somewhere in the top 3, even in the top 2.
Why is that funny?
Even in the top 2.
It's top.
Like, it's going to be tough because they have.
It's not unrealistic.
If they're going to make the playoffs, they have to finish no worse than second place.
Of course.
Yep.
Because now you're looking at other teams around the National League that are getting better as well.
Right.
So that wild card spot, neither one of the wild card spots is a guarantee to them. So right now you're looking at who? The Phillies. You're looking at Atlanta.
I mean, I love the Braves.
Atlanta actually won the division. They're going to be better.
I think the Braves are going to.
The Nationals.
come back.
The Nationals pitching staff rivals the Mets pitching staff.
Yep. Who does? The Nationals
pitching staff rivals the Mets.
Yeah, absolutely.
So where are they getting their wins? If they're facing each other 19 times each this season,
that's why it's going to be a great. It's going to be a great. It's going to be a great division.
But the thing
it's going to be a fight.
But it's going to be like
I don't like.
It's going to be like
pitching.
It's going to be like how the NFC.
No,
Phillies have no pitching. You're right.
Here's the problem.
But they're just going to slug everybody to death.
And the thing about Arrieta is after the second half of the year, he had an ERA near 5. It was just.
It's going to be like how
had two really good pitchers. One's Nolan. Nolan's the other guy.
That's it.
Good. And I thought there was another guy who always used to face the Mets on Sundays and beat them.
And
everybody does that, Chris. That's an annual thing.
I just feel
that the Mets
we're
like 1-10 on Sundays for the first 2 months of the year.
That's what's going to. Everybody.
We're all going to beat each other up. But I just think we're going to just go.
And there's no traditional Orioles and Rays to get you can feast off of. Remember how the Blue Jays, the Red Sox, and the Yankees used to beat those guys.
But you know what? The good thing is, like I said, I feel like the Mets are definitely going to compete. The National League this year is not going to be what it was last year, where you're just sneaking in 85 wins, boom, you get a wild card.
Well, we know the
spot.
Dodgers.
Dodgers going to be the Dodgers.
And the Diamondbacks did really well.
No, but you think about it.
Not this year.
You think about it.
Trade everybody this year. Yeah.
85, 86, 87 wins may not necessarily be sneaking in because, again, they're all the level of parity now in the National League.
I agree.
Has increased.
And that's the beauty of what the Mets have with their starting rotation and the bullpen. That's the beauty of when you have a rotation in the bullpen and you get the and you look at Alonso this spring training.
What's going on?
Wow.
Yeah, he's looking good. What's going on with Laurie?
Yeah, but do you see him play first base? Do you see
Do you
see the first throw to him?
Yep, it happens.
No, it doesn't happen.
It does because it happens. Rosario had a ball that was thrown to him and he missed it on a transfer. It happens. Mistakes happen. You can't deny.
One job.
Catch
the ball.
Listen, you can't deny. He's up. Listen to what I'm going to say. This is what angers me is because you got to give the guy the work ethic issue with it. He works. He was up at 6:30 in the morning doing 2.5 hours of ground balls.
All of them work.
Right.
Really? By himself. So after the game is over, he stayed for an extra 3 hours to do ground ball work.
That do that.
And he still missed the ball.
Listen, we're not going to...
that was one play. That was one play.
You learn to catch a ball when you're 5.
We're just talking about his glove right now.
Listen,
he should
and that's
be
fine.
great.
Listen, he's going to be.
I think he's going to be, but we're just talking about his glove right now. His glove is a little suspect.
There's always... There's that he's a young and
Smith lost a lot of weight.
He loses weight every year, and he don't do nothing.
He lost a lot of weight.
He no longer looks like Carl Winslow.
Yeah,
he doesn't do anything.
Did I do that?
I'm like, wow.
Like I said, I look at it like this. If Alonso can hit...
There's a guy who can feel.
That's fine.
He's got a great glove.
Definitely has a great glove.
Yeah.
Who does?
Dominic Smith. I mean, that's
a great glove.
That's the whole thing about being you're a great glove growing up because you learned to catch growing up.
And I followed Smith from when he was drafted to... He slacked last year.
No, he's not. No,
he slacked on his glove last year.
He's not a major league player. He's just... Dominic Smith is not a major league baseball player.
So then, I mean, look, I think his peak is James Loney. That's what I think his peak is.
But James Loney could hit, and James Loney could field, and James Loney was tall and
with
skinny.
25 home runs?
25 home runs was nice.
Pierre Alonso can do that and hit better.
Yeah, but you need a guy who's going to give a target at first base.
I think he can be a target at first base. I think you got to give him time to work. He's also a young kid.
Have you ever played on a baseball or in the infield on a baseball or softball team? Right. Your first baseman who drops the ball. If you have a first baseman who drops the ball, it stinks. It's in your head every time. You're not going to throw it. You got to make a perfect throw.
Yeah, it just deflates the rest of your infield.
But we can't. No, I understand. We look at the bat, but then he made the good. It was the other day when he did it. He did an over-the-shoulder catch. So, like I said, and the fact that he didn't let the play bother him and hit a bomb to center field, you got to give the kid that. He doesn't let something like that bother him.
Spring training, though. Who's he facing? I mean,
but that doesn't matter, Chris.
Chris, one of mine.
But no, he was facing a guy that's going to be in the Braves rotation, and he had a bomb off of him. I'm going to give the guy credit for where credit is due.
We know he's got a bat.
I'm sorry.
We know he's got a bat, but you got to field a position,
and you got to give the kid time to work at it. It's his first big spring training as a full-time player. He's worked.
He's a top prospect.
He's been a full-time player his whole life, right?
No, I'm talking about being in the major league team.
But he's
he's not Jimenez's.
But he's
the name we've been hearing.
But Jimenez is number one. Though.
He's been the best kid on his team since he was a child, right? So it's not that he hasn't played every year at first base, right? The fact that he's still dropping the ball at 20-something years of age.
But here's the thing we have to remember, and this is why it's so tough to play in for any of the New York teams, the New York market, or anything. any player, like I said, they've been doing this all their lives, as you just said, and so they probably never experienced this particular level of competition, this level of scrutiny before. And where we come off as fans and as sports people, sports talk people, we expect certain things, and we don't give him that opportunity. And I think we need to take, as Josh said, we need to take a step back. It was one day, one play.
Exactly.
Let's see how it's not going. It's just an anomaly. It's not going to be the norm.
I know he's going to be great.
Listen, I give you another example.
You can't kill him over one thing.
Yeah, and he hasn't made a bad play in the field since. Look at a guy. Okay, so I'll give J.D. Davis this. So J.D. Davis was a top prospect for the Astros. Great. The Astros then traded him, right? I look at a guy, okay, that this is a guy that the Mets are taking a gamble on. Okay, the Yankees did the same thing with a guy named Didi Gregorius, who was a disaster in Arizona. No, he was horrible.
Everybody wanted
210.
That wasn't gamble.
He had 210 in Arizona.
That was not a gamble.
The Mets wanted Didi Gregorius.
He had 210 in Arizona when he was there.
That wasn't a gamble.
But they knew what they were getting when they
brought him. And J.D. Davis was a top prospect. He had no room at Houston anymore because Bregman has come on. They had to trade him.
No, but and
that's why I look at it. I read the article the other day from the New York Post, who I didn't say we trashed it, but I was still interned there and everything like that. So I respect some of those writers. Didi
Gregorius was the most sought-after trade chip there was in baseball.
J.D. Davis was also a sought-after trip this offseason. J.D. Davis, the guy the Mets got.
Well, I don't even know what
there were three teams. He's
going to make it now because Lowry is fine.
Chris, he's saying 360 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs so far in spring training.
Spring training!
What do you want me to base it off of, Chris?
His major league career.
What do you want me to base it off of? A guy on the side drive playing with his kid? What do you want me to base it off of?
His major league career is what you want to base it off of.
No, I'm not going to go by that because he's still facing the starting pitching. He hit off of one of the Cardinals starting pitchers who just got signed to a 5-year extension, Marcos.
What starting pitchers do in spring training? They try.
I know what you're saying. They work on their other stuff, and I understand.
Pitching 2
but Chris,
innings.
that means we can't compliment anything on anyone. Then,
if
we're going to give them that, then we can't.
Spring training tells you nothing.
Like I don't care about.
No, that's unfair.
That's true
that's unreasonable.
But I don't really care about preseason. I know certain people is going to look better than certain players and stuff like that. And you like
that's
that, but
so unreasonable. That it's not even fair to the players. Then they're working their butt.
It's too early.
It's too early in preseason
until we see this guy who's throwing for 300 yards in preseason go, and the team is actually game planning around him and throwing everything they got just at him and not testing stuff out. You can't really say nothing because there's going to be mistakes, and then they should capitalize on it. That's just how I see it. I don't take this time of the year serious. I'm waiting for April.
I mean, like I said, so am I. And like I said, at least if they play well, and I'm fine with it. Like I said, listen, I'm looking at it on the positive side.
Definitely.
And that's just how I am. That's my outlook on it. And Chris calls me crazy. You call me crazy.
No, I didn't call you crazy about that.
I have no problem with
it. But this all went back to Kevin's point about the Mets in the division. And it's going to be a
tough division. It's very hard.
It's going to be a hard, tough road for the Mets. But all you guys got to worry about is if you can pass Boston, because if that's the case, then you should be able to see us in the World Series.
Don't worry about what other teams are doing. Worry about your team.
Worry about
your team, Tristan. That's what I say.
If you guys take care of Boston, then we can see each other for all the marbles.
See, I say it to Islander fans. I say it to Islander fans. Don't worry about
the only time the Mets are going to see the Yankees is if you're playing it on PlayStation.
We'll see. We'll see.
Listen, like I said, I tell this to Islander fans too. You're too worried about Toronto, about what Tavares is doing. Your team's in first place.
I have to worry about other teams.
Worry about you don't. Worry about your own team. Do not. And that's where Chris says the point. The little sisters of the poor. You're not worrying about the other team. Worry about your team.
Little Sisters of the Poor actually means something different.
I know it means I know it means something different.
I'm worried about everything.
Chris, here's my point that I'm trying to make. My point is that you said the Little Sisters of the Poor.
No, I said big brother, little brother. No. Little Sisters of the Poor means a small, like a bad opponent. Like Georgetown always faces the beginning of the year. Little Sisters of the Poor.
Chris, you know what I meant.
It means a different thing. It's like people say fish or cut bait. Fish or cut bait means there's 2 things you could do. You could actually do the fishing.
Fine, I'm sorry.
You could cut bait. Everything.
Big brother, little brother scenario.
Get rid of them. It doesn't mean get rid of them.
Big brother, little brother scenario. Yeah. I'll word it correctly.
I'm worried about everything.
And I'm saying don't be the little brother. Worry about yourself and that situation.
As a Jets fan, I worry about every team in my division. I'm crazy for that?
No.
I'm crazy that I worry about the Patriots, the Dolphins, and everything?
Your division, but you're saying worry about the Yankees.
Because I'm talking about a team who was supposed to be in the World Series where my team is gonna be.
The Yankees were not supposed to be in the World Series this year.
This year they was.
No, they were not.
When they got Stanton, they did.
No, they were.
Yeah, no, they were.
They were still a year ahead of schedule.
Right. which is what actually goes
Now, this year,
which I think killed them.
This year, they're supposed to win it. Not just get there, but they're supposed to win it.
No, it actually goes back to the Islanders this year or the Yankees of 2 years ago.
They're not the Little Sisters of the Poor.
And are a year ahead of where they should be. They're not the Little Sisters of the Poor.
See, 2 years ago, last season, the Yankees got far, and they weren't supposed to get with it. They weren't supposed to get that far. So the expectations changed. But based on the initial plan, they were supposed to get to the World Series this year coming.
That's what you Yankees fans talk about.
But unfortunately,
and I guess selling yourselves.
You know what the theme of tonight's show is? Like a Sopranos episode. Fans of Fanatics is the theme of tonight's episode. Yeah. Fans have unrealistic expectations. We were saying the Islanders have exceeded expectations. The Yankees did that 2 years ago when they had that year.
Oh, absolutely they did.
As a result,
2 years ago they
everyone ripped up the plans.
They were only supposed to win 84, 85 games.
Started saying that they're going to do better than they won. Yes. That's the problem. People ripped up the plans and said, no, they should only be here.
And I think getting Stanton added to the fire.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God.
Once you sign Stanton,
traded for him.
Right, traded for Stanton. And then, like I said,
the Little Sisters of the Poor did not trade for
They were the Marlins.
Based on how they came
maybe the Marlins. That's right. They
breath away from getting to the World Series the previous year. And then you added the National League MVP. Yeah, the expectations changed.
What was the expectations?
The expectation was to go to the World Series.
Go to?
The expectation was to get to the World Series.
You was one game out from the World Series. You had the NL MVP, and you're not supposed to win the World Series?
Well,
what if the Marlins kept all their outfielders?
Always expect to win the World Series. Even when George Steinbrenner was around, it was World Series or
the Marlins
bust.
kept all their outfielders. How good the NL East would be? Oh my God!
So the expectation was always to win the World Series, but now you temper that, and the plan right now they are going according to plans.
This now in Vegas, who is the favorite? The Yankees, which goes to Kevin's point that this is the year the Yankees are supposed to win.
Did you see the Phillies? Did you see the Phillies bump? The Phillies bumped from 15 to 1 to I think 7 to 1. Yeah,
I am praying.
It's nuts. I mean, you don't think the Mets and the Nationals, who they put behind them by a lot.
That's one guy does not determine a World Series.
The Mets and the Nationals still have a better pitching staff than they do.
I pray that the Mets stay healthy.
Yep.
That's my first thing. The Mets stay healthy, and I pray that the Yankees are better.
You'll see Jose Reyes in a month.
Better than Red Sox this year.
You'll see Jose Reyes in a month.
They will be.
I want to see
they will be.
Stay away.
In the World
His daughter went to my
so
Swiss
bad
sub at
because I know what's gonna happen. I know.
Oh look,
for
Chris,
sure
look ahead of you.
What's gonna happen? And Kevin,
I think it's Gritty the Islander version.
You're gonna have to take like
but here's a problem. Even if
here we go. Here's the problem. And fuel to the fire.
Just wait, Kevin's got a point to make.
I was like, even if the Yankees get
don't wear
there,
hockey sweaters no more.
The Yankees have a better team than they had last year.
They do.
Yes, they do.
And they still may not even win 100 games.
Who's your daddy?
Teixeira came out and said, Teixeira came out
and he said that the Yankees should win the World Series.
No.
We don't need you. What are you looking at me for, Chris? I know we're related, but we're not.
Before I saw one logo, I was going to mention and the logo on this side. I didn't realize the other side. I didn't see it.
No, he told you about it, didn't he?
Yeah, but I didn't know because I was going to say the theme of tonight's show is on your hat, and it's not the other side. The side closest to Kevin. Do you see that logo?
Yeah.
What logo is that? Not that one.
Not that one.
No, the other one.
The other one's the F on the side.
Ding dong.
That one. What's that short for?
For Fanatics?
That's Fanatics.
Yeah.
So that's our total theme of tonight's show, Fanatics.
Yeah.
But which actually relates to the Fanatic thing too, right?
But I said it was Gritty in an Islanders version.
I don't know. The Yankees, I thought everybody...
Oh, Mark, you broke the headphones.
It's too early for our picks, but do we think that the Yankees are in the World Series this year? Kevin Boston Hill, Yankee fan extraordinaire.
Yes, Yankees will be. They'll be there.
Teixeira came out and said that
I say the Mets win a World Series before the Yankees do, and I'm sticking to it.
Paxton is supposed to be the number 2. Teixeira was talking, and then
because the Mets will win a World Series before the Yankees. Book it.
But he said that Paxton should be the Yankees number 2 in the rotation.
But you know what? Tanaka probably will be dropped down to number 3 because if they implement that pitch clock.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I don't
because
think
he doesn't do well if he has to rush his pitches.
That's true. They said that Paxton's supposed to be number 2.
Yeah, but I don't like the pitch clock. I think they're going to let it go this year because they're ignoring it in spring training right now. So I think they're just going to let it go this year because they got bigger fish to fry with the whole CBA and this whole.
What if the Marlins kept all their outfits? I was telling you, Chris, before, like, oh my God, imagine all 5 of those teams in the division. Oh, forget about it.
But now the
Mets got better, but the Phillies
Hi,
got
Mark.
even better.
How are you?
Mark Tchaikovsky, ladies and gentlemen. Is Alan game over?
He straggled in.
Did you walk from the Coliseum here?
Yes.
You're nuts.
You're nuts, man.
I'm only wearing
you and I
a
say
hockey
before the
sweater, thermal
How
socks.
do Islanders do?
6-1.
6-1.
Yes. They chanted, "Who's your daddy? We don't need you."
I heard you're a liar.
You're a liar.
I heard the A beep one.
It's past your bedtime. Wear your jammies.
I heard the first one was the. Well, we can't say it on the air. That's the first one.
You can dance around it.
Yeah.
And I took some pictures our station manager would be happy about.
What?
Took pictures with some WBLI guys.
Oh, okay.
The station manager of WBLI.
I've never listened to WBLI in my life. And by WBLI,
I felt embarrassed. I said,
I heard you saw Kevin, my friend Kevin.
Yeah,
You heard
the guy Syke was there from Syke on Air.
Okay.
He said, call him tomorrow morning. He said, what time's your show?
Yeah. Well, the Yankees in the World Series is a thing that we'll have as a
I had you
running
pondering
theme
for a
this year.
second.
No, I'm trying to think. I had a really good point.
Oh, the one I said before.
I had a germane point I wanted to make that I realized Jermaine is actually Tristan's middle name.
Go ahead.
But no, I had a point I wanted to make and I totally forgot. But this is WHPC Sports Talk every Thursday evening from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. In honor of Mark's hat, I'll go from right to left. Over here we got Tristan. Mark has the Star of David on his side of his Islanders hat, by the way. Now, what organization put that out? Organization, since
What?
it's
You got it custom made.
That hat.
Custom made.
Custom made.
Lids, right?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Low lids like in the mall. You went in there. Oh, very interesting. All right, over here, Tristan Hamilton.
He's not so interesting.
You could put a cross, too.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that you can put whatever you want on the thing.
As long as it doesn't copyright.
No, I get
It makes me worry about some people.
I get scared as to what some people might put on an ad.
I know what you did.
I get scared.
I'm thinking of
some
people are nuts.
There's a lot of bad people out there. Over here, there's a really good person right here. His name is Kevin Boston Hill, right over there.
Good evening.
Over there, you got Mark Talkie Tchaikovsky.
And pissed off Nets fan.
Mark-
It's him playing like gobbledygook.
Yeah, and over here you got Josh Silverberg,
Gobbledygook.
whose name I remember.
Yes.
And
thank God.
unlike the other
Good.
show. And
My brother-in-law.
my brother-in-law.
Yeah, my brother. Yeah.
My name is Chris Muldoon, and this is not representative of you, Mark, not being here for last week for the first time, like a year and a half, whatever. But last week's show I thought was spectacular. The show we did last week, the whole Stanton Cespedes.
It was just literally it was Tristan and Kevin just going.
I thought it was
45 minutes.
I thought it was.
Chris and I were
I
like,
was smiling all the way home.
Wait, what did I say to you?
You still didn't answer the question.
Well, I'm not gonna because
Yeah.
have you ever seen the movie My Cousin Vinny?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Where she goes, it's a bull blank question. You can't be answered. Doesn't have positive attraction. They didn't make it in 1960. That kind of thing. You can't answer it because now Bobby Knight, before he was taken down as being Bobby Knight, he was the coach of West Point basketball. At the same time, Army had
Coach K was there.
Coach K was played for him. Coach K went to West Point. The football coach was a guy named out of Wichita State named Bill Parcells. Oh. And Bill Parcells went over to Bobby Knight, which helped explain why Bill Parcells acts the way he does. And he's like, hey, I just lost my best player. What am I going to do? And at the time, Army's best player was a center who actually played for the 72 Olympic team, which is the team where the Olympics had the Russians get 3 chances to win the game. Mm-hmm. And in fact, the Americans never even got the silver medal. They just left it there because they were so screwed over by the referees during that Olympics. That center was the Army guy. He was hurt. And Bobby Knight's advice to him was, you don't have him. He's like, but he's out. You don't have him. Your team is who you have. If he's not healthy, you don't have him. He's not on your team. And that's the whole thing with Cespedes. Cespedes is hurt. He's not there. He doesn't exist. Yeah. He can't be, I can't go rely on him. I can't put him in the batter's box. I can't put him in the on deck circle. He's not there. Don't look to him. He's gone. He's not on your team. And that was the whole Bobby Knight to Bill Parcells advice. When you have an injured guy, that's what it is. And that's the whole kind of thing. It's like, Stanton will win that situation every time because he's still healthy. He's still there. He's available. He'll show up. And what do they always say? Showing up is half the battle, or is half the, in terms of
the best ability is availability.
Yeah, and that's what it is. And that's why my answer is, and I went back to the joke I was saying last week, the famous joke where I said, there's a man of the cloth, I'll put it, and he's in the first row at a boxing match, and someone comes up to him, hey, padre, rabbi, father, minister, pastor, whatever, who's going to win the fight? And the answer is, the priest, rabbi, minister says, whoever's got the best jaw, meaning the guy doesn't get knocked out. That's the answer. It's like whoever. You got a puncher's chance. That's kind of. So that's why I'll never answer that question because I can't tell you because it's sports. I mean, crazy stuff happens.
This is down Mark's alleyway.
What do they say? Like luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Yeah.
You spend your whole life practicing. And Malcolm Gladwell said it's like, what is it, like 60,000 hours if you have to do in order to master a craft, you have to spend 60,000 hours practicing it, which Peter Alonso was 50,000 hours under practicing first base catching. But that's the whole, you got to have it.
You know what? I hope he hits 40 home runs, hits 280 this year, and
I hope he does too.
Yeah, that's what you want.
And Kevin Durant will be a Nick, and Porzingis will say, we don't need you either.
Get it all out.
There's a thing called optics. It doesn't look good.
The Knicks are going to end up playing themselves out of that top 3 pick.
They're playing the Cavaliers, and my son's like, the tank game, huh? They beat the Spurs the other day.
Yep, Spurs.
And the Nets did too.
And Greg Popovich is the only guy who in 20 years has ever tanked successfully.
I think they
only once his tank working, and it was Tim Duncan. And
I think they gave this game to the Cavaliers. I think and I'm happy that they did.
Oh, they're losing?
Yeah, they finally.
They're going to lose.
They're finding a way to lose.
They're finding a way to lose.
Yeah, there we go, baby.
Because now they say if they would have won, they would have had the same record.
To Samuel Jackson,
great.
We're tanking.
And Zion is still not ready to come back, I'm hearing. They're still not ready to bring him back.
I told you what happened.
I think that's a philosophical thing.
Yeah, I think
that's
he's
like
he don't want to play until the March Madness.
Let's discuss this, exactly.
I think he doesn't want to play until March Madness because Duke knows they're in.
Get him ready for the ACC tournament.
They're in.
Tune them up, and then
come on, Q's.
You don't even need him for that. Why don't you root for LSU? They're like almost in the top 10 in basketball now.
No, I root for LSU too. Of course.
Oh, here we go.
But listen,
are you still we with the Saints too?
Huh?
We and the Saints? You still we with them too?
Listen, are you guys happy about February?
He's an NFL bigamist.
No, are you guys happy?
He was like the text.
Are you guys happy
about the Saints?
Do not get me started with the Saints. Do not get me started. They got cheated.
No.
Did you see what the Saints were doing?
We got cheated in New York.
What the Saints was
no.
It was cheated.
If you ate dinner, actually, if you went to a restaurant, they actually were giving out. I think it was like free meals if you protested the game at restaurants in New Orleans. They were giving out free meals if you didn't watch the Super Bowl.
I wish I was there.
All right.
Well, you wouldn't have gone.
I would have went.
We're at the top of the hour, so hold those thoughts, fellas. You won't get cheated.
The Nassau Community College Department of Theater and Dance presents Ken Ludwig's Moon Over Buffalo at the Nassau Community College Little Theater, presented by special arrangement with Samuel French, Inc., with performances Thursday, March 21st through the 31st. In this show, everything that can go wrong does go wrong. An evening of mayhem filled with comedic inventions and running gags, this comedy is full of adventure. More information is available by calling the theater box office at 516-572-7676.
You're listening to the station that's been nominated for 11... Wait, that doesn't sound right. This is the station that's been nominated for 12 awards from the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System.
FM,
HD,
Amazon Echo,
Google Home, the TuneIn Radio app,
the iHeartRadio app,
and nccradio.org. This is 90.3 WHPC.
WHPC HD. Garden City,
Long Island,
New York.
Want more sports? We have more sports.
Let's get it.
Catch WHPC Sports Talk all week to get your sports fix.
Break it down.
Monday mornings at 9. Monday afternoons at 5. Tuesday afternoons at 5. Thursday nights at 9. And Friday afternoons at 3.
Come and get some of this.
WHPC Sports Talk. Exclusively on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, WHPC HD Garden City, and on the iHeartRadio app.
And you are listening to WHPC Sports Talk right here on 90.3 WHPC, WHPC HD. We're here 100% commercial free every Thursday evening from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. We want to hear from you at 516-572-7440. I will introduce you to my Sports Talk friends over here, WHPC Sports Talk friends over here. Josh Silverberg going left to right.
Hello.
Mark Tukowski.
Love the cold open.
Kevin Boston Hill.
Greetings.
And over there, he's not in a hole, but he might as well because I'm like,
if there's anybody you go in a foxhole with, Chris.
There's Tristan. He's my son. Tristan Hamilton. Actually, it's funny because this Sunday, my youngest turns 13, so I'll no longer have non-teenager children. So that's
and you guess what? And then
I've got a 20-something in Tristan.
And then his other son turns 23 Monday.
Yeah, you turned 23 on Monday?
23 on Monday.
Oh, that's funny. So my brother's birthday's the 2nd, my son's birthday's the 3rd, so you're the 4th.
I'm the 4th.
There you go. That makes it very easy.
Very easy. Pisces season.
No, Mark, you gotta love Chris's son. Sorry, no, you're going to ask.
When I was in college, March 4th, we always had we had March break, because Notre Dame didn't want you to be out at the same time as like the crazy spring breakers were, so they always gave us a March break. So March 4th was always home.
Mark was going to ask you, hey, where's me?
No, were you a Panama City guy back in the day?
That Panama City is where the Midwestern kids went down. No, South Padre Island is where the Midwestern. I didn't have money to go anywhere like that.
Not Clearwater Beach.
I went home. I couldn't fly home. I had to stay on campus.
Hey, ladies, I'm
what
Chris Muldoon.
Are they voluptuous?
Should we play that? Should we play a 17-year-old Chris Muldoon from on the air? You've never seen the video, have you?
I've never seen it.
It's on YouTube. I could play it. Yeah,
oh, God.
Definitely play that.
I would love to see that.
Yeah,
he goes, hey, ladies, I'm Chris Muldoon.
How you doing? I lost that accent 1 week. First week in Indiana, it was gone. Basically, you lose your Long Island accent very, very fast when you're in the Midwest, because they make fun of you forever.
Actually, some places it's a disadvantage. You know,
it's a big disadvantage.
Like
certain places.
Like when some of us go to Austin, Texas later this year.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to make fun of us big time.
You're going to Austin, Texas? Well, Austin, Texas is a very...
He's talking about my bachelor party.
Melting pot kind of town, though, so you should be fine
Yeah,
there.
but still, you know...
He's talking about my bachelor party, so yeah. I'm going to Austin.
Great music there, great music.
I'm going to Austin, and she's going to Nashville, so...
We rented a ranch.
She's going to do the big picture with the wings. Well, every girl who goes to Nashville, there's the wings drawing.
Picture. Oh, yeah, right on the wall.
We got the ranch.
So you guys are spending other people's money. I love bachelor parties in other cities. So you love to spend other people's money. Is what I always when I see that. It's like, an invitation out of town for a bachelor party. Great, crumple it up is what I do. So
don't travel nowadays.
Well, it is. Yeah,
but my brother went to Cancun 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, spend my money. Why don't you?
It was 2 years ago.
I remember the day of his wedding though. NYFC lost like 9-0.
Well, it's funny because
I do remember that.
When the Tavares video was shown tonight on the Islanders, my son said he's
Perm's
like,
coming. I got to practice.
He's like, I don't think Oklahoma City would ever show a KD video.
Wait, Mark, did you see the Dear John video?
Oh, that made me.
They're not going to retire him.
That was News 12.
They're not going to retire his jersey.
Oh my God!
So there was a Ranger fan. He actually was. It was funny. What he did was he was doing it was a video of him getting reaction of the Dear John video. And every time somebody said something, he started laughing off his chair.
I was like, whatever you do, don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Someone cried. I'm like,
why is he?
Don't cry.
You know what the part made me cringe? This was the part. That way, my son isn't old enough to realize that heartbreak, this and that. I'm like, really? So he made the baby feel bad. The baby knows what's going on. Then you got the girl with the orange and blue lips. What is that?
It's like what I always say when I see people.
Mark, would you go out with her? Orange and blue lips?
When I see people,
even I get better sentences than that.
When I see people line up to get the what's that game? That video game with the shoot of war, whatever the game.
Apex Legends.
No,
Call of Duty.
Fortnite.
Call of Duty. When I see
Fortnite,
Fortnite's free, and so is free in quotes.
Yeah,
so
really.
is like
but there's a 30-day free trial.
Yeah.
Then we got to give you credit card information. Put it in there.
The Call of Duty. When I see people lined up at midnight, I'm like, you know what? You should really put this outside of a recruiting station. You want to shoot guns? Go really where people have to do. That's my whole thing in terms of you're crying. You want to cry? Go to a hospital and really see something that really is a terrible, terrible thing in life or whatever. It's like that's what it's like. Don't cry over a hockey player going to play for a different team.
Dear John.
Speaking of playing for different teams, Oklahoma City, Russell Westbrook.
You made us feel so bad. You're a traitor.
Eagles fan.
So Russell West. How do you feel that Russell Westbrook?
How do you go from that to
situation?
Because he don't watch hockey. See, he goes from
I watch hockey in the playoffs, but
they are the best hockey for. They are the best playoff format.
I won't lie to you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like I watch hockey.
They are the best playoff format in my opinion. I love how their playoffs are.
Russell Westbrook. He's right.
What is he right about?
I know it's good how you handle the situation, but what he said in the post game.
Hear John video yesterday.
The NBA, I think they have to find a way to block these fans and these camera people from being so close. I think to the NBA players. I think it's about time.
I agree with that.
I think it's about time.
It should have happened after the Detroit melee. It should have happened.
Their way around it was to make a whole celebrity row. That's what they did. They're like, this way we'll put celebrities like Adam Sandler was in row one last night for the Lakers game and stuff. Yeah. Until crazy Calvin Klein went on the court one time. That was the whole kind of with the Knicks. But no, there's no reason for fans to be that close.
And
there
even
never
the camera
is.
guys.
There never is. Yeah, there never is. You're talking about, and if you've ever sat that close, because I always would sit that close back in the 90s. These players, the musculature on them. Yeah. They're machines. I mean, they're so fast and strong.
As I did when I sat courtside at the 76ers game, and it was crazy.
I remember seeing Dan Marley, and Dan Marley was the 12th guy on the team, and his muscles had muscles. It was like so. These guys can't stop themselves. They're also that tall. They're also 300 pounds or nearby. It's like
it should have stopped after the
it's a
Palace melee, and then top of that, Carmelo gets into the melee with Jared Jeffries at the Garden.
They maximize.
Nate Robinson tried to tackle him. Jared Jeffries then got involved.
No. He sucker punched Nate Robinson, and then Jared Jeffries. tried to get involved.
It was Jared Jeffries sucker punched Carmelo. Jared Jeffries sucker punched Carmelo.
Carmelo sucker punched.
I
think Nate Robinson.
Carmelo stole the ball. Nate fouled him Jeffries fouled him very dirty-like, and then Jeffries pretty much... it wasn't either one of them. Somebody sucker punched Jeffries, then Nate Robinson, like a spider monkey, comes in and tries to tackle Carmelo Anthony
Ben
into
10,
the stands.
Spider monkey? Ben 10.
Ben 10, exactly.
The funny thing about that was it was on a Saturday night, and who watches basketball games on a Saturday night?
People in bars.
Yeah, really.
I mean,
Mark,
that's like a pregame.
Mark, I know you're still an Islander. You're still in your Islander spiel.
What's he gonna wear? Get your Yiddish right. He's not a spiel. Spiel means play.
Hey, you want a cup of coffee? Okay.
But I want to talk about the Celtics because this year in basketball, I'm seeing things I've never seen before. I'm seeing things out of Zion Williamson, which is just out of this world. I'm seeing James Harden do things I've never seen before in a basketball court, and I'm seeing this whole Celtics thing where the narrative is that they have too many good guys on the team, therefore they can't win because they have too many good guys on the team? Yeah, is that what I'm to understand?
Not enough playing time for them. Because
Why? Who said that?
Because the problem was last year because Hayward and Kyrie went down, all these their role players actually got more minutes.
Right.
And that's what carried them through the playoffs. So now those same players, now that you have Hayward and Irving coming back, their minutes are being cut. So they want to go back. So it's tough to have somebody who's been playing 20, 24 minutes a game now playing 12. And so they want their playing time back. And is suffering. Their play is suffering because they have to get into a rhythm.
Yeah, they like Rozier better.
It's Tatum and Jaylen Brown or something like that.
Yeah, and then I know they like Rozier better, and that's why Kyrie's going to leave. And then this team, I think they're going to be successful, but they're just, I don't know, maybe has Tatum and stuff developed, but Kyrie's not.
This is not helping Kyrie Irving because this makes him a cancer in two places.
It really
right?
does.
Cavaliers and
Celtics. With Jimmy Butler, it's the same
and like
thing.
I said, and to go back to the Alonzo point, it's optics. It may not be true. I mean, Peter Alonzo could make 99 catches this spring, and I'll only think of the one, right? Yeah. Kyrie Irving could have worked out with any other situation, but because of the way it was with LeBron and Cleveland, and because of these guys missing their playing time in Boston, the optics have not come across. They interview him after the game, and he's speaking in these terse one-sentence, ask Brad, it's up to Brad, or whatever. No, it's not up to the coach.
No, and then it's about Marcus Morris, and he goes,
I don't see Golden State, Golden State's got talent coming out of their ears. I don't see them having these kind of problems.
Draymond and Durant did it a little bit, but they got past it, though. They got past it.
Yeah. I mean, Kyrie says that, okay, I need to be a better leader, but he's not.
No. How about what he did yesterday? He walked to the bench, sat there, all the players are around him, and he's just screaming at everybody.
Well, that's
what
bad.
scares me.
I mean, there have been guys. Jordan yelled at his guys. The older Isaiah Thomas yelled at his guys. I mean, you can yell at your guys. Lambeer yelled at his guys. I mean, you can yell at your guys.
But this is what he asked for. He asked for this.
Yeah,
but when you assume he's choking him.
But also when you have a reporter asking you about your thoughts about the game or how things are going, and you say, "What kind of a question was that?"
Right.
I mean, they're asking legitimate questions about the game and your play and your teammates, and you say, "Well, what kind of a question was that?" Well, then what kind of a leader are you?
Yeah, it's true.
That's where you got.
That's what scares you about him.
That's where you got to go to the Ripken Jeter school of answering questions. Cal Ripken and Jeter gave great answers. They said nothing, but they gave great answers. They said absolutely nothing.
Like I said, somebody else to that?
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn?
Tony Gwynn was a class guy.
Yeah, he was.
Tony Gwynn was not. Gandhi was Tony Gwynn. I mean, Tony Gwynn would say anything bad about anything. Plus, he was in San Diego where they had one beat writer. They're saying about Philadelphia. San Diego's the exact opposite. You had one beat writer. You had the greatest weather in the world. And Tony was San Diego through and through. He went to San Diego State, grew up in San Diego, all that kind of stuff.
No rainouts either.
You imagine, like I said, you imagine if the backlash.
But he rest in peace. I mean, it's unbelievable.
You imagine the backlash that were to happen is, and I've brought this up to Kevin with the Lakers. Imagine, like I said, so Kyrie has to be out in Cleveland. They wanted his own team.
Yep.
Imagine if he just tucks his tail between his legs and goes to LA to play with LeBron?
That's a possibility.
Oh my God! I mean, can you imagine the flakiness that is on his part?
I mean,
I wouldn't trust him ever again.
I think it helps the prospect of him coming to the Knicks because the Knicks,
absolutely.
He can't screw up the Knicks more than they already screwed up.
Well, him and Durant
he simply can't.
Buddy. He's got to play with a buddy, a friend. But he can't be it by himself.
Kyrie has the classic case of the grass is greener on the other side
every time.
So he realizes that it's not, because he figured, okay, let me get out of LeBron's shadow. I'm tired of bringing LeBron's shadow.
Not so easy.
But now he's out there and he's supposed to be the man on the team, and like you said, it's not that easy anymore. So he realizes, because he realizes the type of leader that LeBron was for him.
Yeah. He needs a LeBron. He needs a Durant. He needs that person next to him. That's just the reality.
He needs a what?
He needs a LeBron or he needs a Durant.
Durant
That's who Kyrie.
No.
It's not a matter of being a leader. What I think Josh is getting at is that he needs a primary scorer.
He needs a primary scorer with him.
Who's going to
I'm not saying a leader.
Who's going to take the majority of the heat so that he can be the savior of the game.
That's exactly what it is.
I think that's bad. I think that's not a good. Durant's not a good example because that's what Durant needs. What are you saying that Kyrie needs? Exactly what Durant needs. Durant, I think that's why he needs another star, is because Durant will never be good.
So they both need each other. That's perfect. They both need each other.
They're both tools when it comes to needing somebody. Durant needs Curry.
I don't want to take it. You take it. I don't take it. You take
Durant
it.
Needs
two of those guys like, well, if you're not taking it, he's not taking it. Who's taking it?
Durant is not going to also. I'll take all the. Do you see how Durant acts in the media?
No.
Come on. He's not.
Durant's a baby.
Yeah,
Durant's in the right place for himself.
But why is it Kawhi can handle it, though?
Because Kawhi doesn't talk.
Exactly. He's a different guy. That's his personality.
And his personality. They don't ask him a lot of questions.
See, that's why everybody's. That's the funny thing. So people say to me, "Oh, you want Durant," and I always go to people. I go, "No, Kawhi would be my first option."
Well, but Kawhi's not a leader.
Not even close. No. Oh, I would.
Kawhi's not a leader.
Well, I think he learned from Tim Duncan. I think he.
Tim Duncan was a quiet.
So you think Kawhi Leonard is the leader of the Raptors right now? It's Kyle Lowry. Yeah, he's not the best player, but who's the leader of the team?
It was what I was saying last week with the captain. The captain isn't always the best player of the team.
You're right. That's fair.
It's the guy you listen to.
That's fair.
Yeah, so it depends on who's the star. Steph Curry, he's the alpha male. LeBron, he's the alpha male. Yeah. Certain guys is just, it depends on who it is. Russell Westbrook, that's why.
Well, like Chris said, I think Kyrie is going to help with the Knicks and everything like that.
Because he can't chew it up anymore.
He can't. He just cannot be in Boston anymore. I personally, I don't think Boston even if they try to get Anthony Davis. Do you really want to keep Kyrie here? Do you want that?
Let's say that Josh, hits it on the money, and I would be happy if Josh is right and
goes to Blue Ivy.
And the Knicks get Kevin Durant.
Ivy Blue. I heard of that Blue Nile. I've heard of that jewelry store.
I would love Josh forever if he gets it right? So say Josh gets right, Kevin Durant comes to the Knicks, and at some point before he retires, he brings a championship to New York.
That's the point I was thinking of right now.
Yeah. I don't know if he would be the first person. I'm really not sure if he would be the first person because I'm not sure about
his legacy. Would be would he be
at that point. But would he be, if he is the first, the first person to get his jersey retired on three different teams? Because he's going to get his jersey retired on Golden State.
I think he would.
I think you can. You win 2 championships and 2 finals MVPs.
I think you're going to get it.
I think
you would.
I think he's just going to get it.
But that actually brings up a point in terms of being unprecedented. It's never happened, not because no one was worthy of it, but because that really says a lot. That you had a guy in his prime who played on 3 different teams. That says a lot more about, like Ripken, to use his name again. One team.
It did happen once, but in baseball, that was with Frank Robinson. We talked about that last week.
Wait, Chris. You said it says a lot.
The Robinson thing was a manager. The Indians thing was a manager. Was it a player?
Was it as a manager or was it as a player?
This would be the Reds and the Orioles. Who was the third team? It would have to be as a manager for the.
Who's the manager of the Nationals?
Wait, hold on.
He was manager of the Nationals, but he got his number retired by the Reds, I believe.
Reds as a player.
Orioles
as a player.
Orioles, yes.
And Cleveland.
Which I think was the manager. He was the first African-American manager ever. It was the Indians.
But Chris, you said it. What does that say? Is that a bad thing you're saying?
No, I'm saying it's unprecedented. It just doesn't happen.
Right, it hasn't happened because usually when somebody plays for that many teams, it's because they're a bad player.
The guys that come to mind are Reggie Jackson and Dave Winfield.
Yeah,
right?
But this
they
is my
played
thing.
for several teams and were good. Paul Molitor.
There's about to be... I'm almost pretty sure if things go right, if things go right, there will be a player that gets that.
Yeah, right.
LeBron James. He has to get Cleveland, he has to get Miami, and he will put in for the Lakers.
Right.
If LeBron brings one and say maybe two, he will go in the Lakers Hall of Fame.
But did he play long enough in Miami to have his number retired?
4 years,
won the
2 championships, 2 Finals MVPs. I think you just got to do it.
But here's the thing about retiring jerseys.
Yeah.
If the Heat or when the Heat retire his jersey, it's just for a sellout night. Nowadays they retire jerseys just to get a sellout night. Same thing with Monument Park at Yankee Stadium.
And I think it's going to be hard, especially with D-Wade leaving.
You get a sellout crowd.
D-Wade is going to get his
and he'll
next
stay
year,
in Miami,
probably, right?
And he'll stay in Miami. Dwayne Wade's going to stay in Miami.
But I think LeBron, maybe I'll say 5 years.
He'll get it. But
because
it's good for him. That's good for the Heat.
But don't you think he's going to get in on 3 teams? Because I think LeBron has to win a championship.
I got to see what LeBron's legacy with LA goes.
He would have to bring a championship to LA. If he brings a championship to LA, they may.
Did the Knicks retire Carmelo's number? Yes,
I think they will.
That's the Dolan's being.
No, I don't think so.
I think they will.
You don't think so? I don't know
if he deserves it. And then this is me saying because
I don't think he deserves it either. But again, it's because
he hasn't even had a winning record.
I agree 100%.
Who?
Carmelo.
I agree 100%. No, I agree 100%. But again, as Chris said, it's the Dolan effect. James Dolan loved him.
But with regard to LeBron, right? Yeah. He brought crappy Cavalier teams to the finals.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Always brought them to the finals.
Oh my God! Remember the Anderson Varejao? Holy shit!
And he brought.
The Spurs won. The first
Heat
one
won before he got there, right? The Heat had a title before he ever got there.
Yes, D-Wade had a title before he got there. Yes.
So with the Lakers, where are they in the playoffs right now?
Though.
10th.
They're not in the playoffs, right?
No, but I'm not talking about this year. You know, this year wasn't supposed to be that
that's the thing. That's the thing. I don't know what we're going to see out of LeBron James in the I know
are they making the playoffs this year?
It doesn't look that way.
It doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it.
The Clippers are trying hard.
This year has a championship year.
I would love to see the Kings get in. I'm talking
about with this 4-year contract guarantee in the next 3 years because it's canceled out this year. He will not win. If he gets in, he's going to probably face the Nuggets, I think, or the Warriors first round.
You don't want that.
And bye LeBron, right?
Can I tell you something? You don't want that.
So 2, 3, and 4
to make it.
Let's call it. LeBron has 3 years to get a championship. We know Anthony Davis is coming, right? We know that for sure. LeBron has to get it probably either in his 2nd or 3rd year in the contract. I think he's going to get a championship.
You don't pay LeBron James that kind of money to not have a championship with him.
I think he's going to get one, either 2nd or 3rd year.
The problem I'm seeing, and we were talking before about like past performance and everything, he brought these crappy Cavalier teams to the finals, no matter what.
They were abysmal teams. They were abysmal
teams. No matter what, he had terrible guys with him, just bad players. The Lakers, I thought, had some semblance of good players, and he's not even in the playoffs with them.
DeJuan Wagner.
West. Yeah. And that just was it goes.
I gotta tell you, know who can? Let me tell you, have you seen him and Kuzma, man? I always think Kuzma wants to knock him out.
Well, I watched him last night. I was impressed with Kuzma last night. It's just, but so here's the thing I forgot about before, but it got brought up again when you brought up Teixeira. So in 2009, the Yankees go and throw crazy money at Teixeira and CC Sabathia
and Burnett,
right? Yeah, but Burnett's not even part of the example because he's Burnett.
He was good in that playoffs.
He was good, yeah. But he wasn't. He didn't stay with them.
No.
But here's the thing. So now you got Bryce Harper being signed to a 13-year deal. And the Yankees signed Sabathia, and they signed Teixeira. They got a World Series victory right off the bat that year, 2009, right? Mm-hmm. And never again, not of the length of their contracts, no more World Series. But if someone tells you, and the Yankees are probably an exception to it because they've won before, okay, we're going to sign these guys, and we're going to guarantee a World Series and you're a fan, over the length of their contract, do you sign on for it? Like, would one World Series ring for Phillies fans over this 13 years of Bryce Harper, would that be worth it?
Depends on when it happens.
It depends when it happens, exactly.
Right. If it happens early on, yes.
Because now people
within the first 2 or 3 years, then you got
people tend to forget about it because Yankee fans are now thirsty for World Series. But now
you're in year
if
7,
you told me in the
8.
1985 draft when Patrick Ewing was drafted by the New York Knickerbockers, everyone's like, oh my God, they're going to have 4 titles. How many titles did they win with Patrick Ewing? None. When's the last time the Mets won a World Series? 86.
And the only...
it's like... It's one of those things where, so now, would I sign on for 1 title in 8 years, or whatever the Sabathia, or 1 in 13, as a fan? You bet your sweet bibby. So, I don't care. 1 title, we're still living off the 86 Mets. Before there was the Rangers were with the 1940, then the 94. Rangers fans are still living off of 94. Now I could die in peace kind of stuff and everything. The Knicks haven't won since 71.
But the Islanders don't live off those.
Jets haven't won since.
As an Islander fan, I don't live
Islanders totally live off that dynasty.
Always do. Islander fans, all my friends said,
that's the only banners they got up there.
They were dying for Pittsburgh to lose in the playoffs last year because they didn't want to win 4 straight championships in a row.
Bryce Harper
were hoping that was the one semblance of.
Will be the cover of MLB The Show 19.
Yeah. What? Where have you?
When is that game coming out? They sort of wouldn't they have that out already?
Wow, Chris, when you said he was low, like in the foxhole, I mean, you're coming out of the woodwork.
It's really, I could usually never
Chris,
see Kevin.
I love you, but now you're bringing a random knowledge with the MLB.
By the way,
I don't want to.
excuse me.
What is that game? Wouldn't you want that game out already though? If you're EA Sports and never.
No.
It comes out.
The game already
March
came
26th.
Yeah, the game comes out March 26th.
Wow.
They had it.
See,
he was the cover guy, so they had it blank covered. They were going to release it when he signed the contract.
And this is the
it was a marketing ploy. It was all stupid.
You guys forgot to mention.
Oh, stupid.
You guys forgot to mention Patrick Ewing only made 2.5 finals. I say 2.5 because 99 he was hurt. But he only made it. Why? Guess why?
Well, 99 was
Michael Jordan.
No, Michael Jordan. Exactly.
Well, hey,
That's
if
not
Charles,
his
if 6'11", Charles Smith dunks the ball instead of going for a layup, they're champions.
Hey,
they're champions.
Hey, if John Starks don't go one, and I love John Starks. John Starks is my favorite Nick of all time. If you don't go 1 of 15 in Game 7.
But the Charles Smith, who's now head of the Players Union, the Charles Smith guy, who I love when he was at Pittsburgh in college, Charles Smith, if he dunks the ball, like you know how you can. They always say when you're watching a game, no one play determines a game. Even the Saints game, that one play didn't determine it. We know it did, but didn't.
Oh, now you did it.
However, the Charles Smith, there was
I like how Chris tried to sneak that in there.
There was one football game where one play determined that. No, on that day, there was one football play, just like Charles Smith.
What about the
that
Saints?
determined it. No, one game.
No, the Saints
guy,
Green Bay game.
D. Ford.
What about the Green Bay game?
D. Ford lines up offsides.
Yep.
That's one play. They are in the Super Bowl, but for the D. Ford play. Charles Smith dunks the ball. They are champions because they just are champions.
So you think the D4 play is more of a one-play determination than the Saints?
What about Avery Johnson's shot?
The game was over with D. Ford.
Avery Johnson.
The game was literally over. No, because the Saints had to.
The game was done. The Chiefs game was done.
Score and do things.
Yeah. The Chiefs game was done. They intercepted the ball.
Intercepted the ball.
D. Ford had no part in that play. It was on the opposite side of the field.
That's right.
And that's the game.
That's the game. That's the game.
That's why the Chiefs lost is worse as much as the Saints won.
And now you got D. Ford, who's going to get paid big money by the team.
Justin Houston is now on the trade market because the Chiefs can't afford it. They want to give this guy Ford big money.
And also
which
now
is dumb.
We've got the Mahomes effect in football now.
And he did it again in the Pro Bowl
there's two
He did
Mahomes,
it again.
There's two Mahomes effects. Yeah, I know. There's two Mahomes effects here. Number one, all of a sudden now we're talking about the idea that I think it's just the Giants giving lip service to not pin themselves down, where they're saying, well, it worked out pretty well for the Chiefs to have a year of apprenticeship under Alex Smith for Patrick Mahomes, and then he came out. And also, Kyler Murray is moving up the charts because of Patrick Mahomes. You know, if Patrick Mahomes hadn't had the success he had, people were like, I don't know about Kyler Murray.
I had this in my head. I wanted to ask, because you're a Giant fan, Chris, and you're a Giant fan, Kevin, and this that mind boggles me is that people are saying, oh, you can't draft the quarterback because what are you going to do with Eli? You think Eli wants to be there? I'm like, and my first initial thought was, I think of Brett Favre. Well, when they had Brett Favre, who was still playing well, they drafted Aaron Rodgers, and they primed him for, it was 2 years. He was on the bench.
I don't even know.
But you know what? Hey, listen, Aaron Rodgers came right in after Brett Favre left, and it was fine. So why is it that Kurt Warner was there when Eli was a rookie?
Well,
why can't the Giants draft the quarterback and let Eli stay for a year? Why?
The Giants were playoff bound with Kurt Warner at quarterback.
Yeah, they were. They were 5-2.
They blew it up by putting in Eli Manning.
But why can't the Giants draft the quarterback with Eli still there?
Oh, they can.
They can.
Why is it people say, oh, they can't do it? I'm thinking, why can't they do it?
Well, the problem was last year. That's like old. If they're using that logic, it's old logic because Eli now has a one-and-done year at $17 million, which is the same amount of money that Tyrod Taylor made last year with the Browns. So that's not even bad.
Do we need another 5-11, 6-10? Just it's time.
But they could have Eli Manning for a year. And
I agree with you.
The problem would be if he had 2 years on his deal, he's not exactly going to want to mentor somebody while he thinks he's still.
No, Foles going to Jacksonville.
That's the thing. Nick Foles, the whole thing.
Yeah, Philly let him go.
The whole thing changes. Now Jacksonville's got Nick Foles.
I think Philadelphia realized, you know what, we're not going to do this to him. He won us a Super Bowl.
When I was driving tonight, I heard Steve Summers espousing a word I've never used in all the years doing this.
He's kind of too negative for me
saying that the Giants should trade Eli for the Jaguars' 7th pick overall. Eli Manning would never get this. Eli Manning could never get a first-round pick. He'd get a fourth-round pick. In fact, I would say to him, you can release this guy. We can get off the scrap heap because no one's going to trade anything better than a fourth-round pick for Eli Manning. You got 1 year left on his deal, and he's old, and he's and all that stuff.
I actually do like what Philly did.
If the Jaguars are a quarterback away, great. But are the Jaguars a quarterback away? I mean, that's...
I think so.
But is that quarterback Eli Manning?
No, Foles. Foles would do it, I think.
Eli Manning, to me, is a top 15 quarterback.
If it's the playoffs.
That's why I don't mind having... You've got Odell Beckham, you've got Saquon Barkley. You've got enough pieces around him where if I have a top 15 quarterback, I can win with him with those guys. Now, if you bring in, going to the future, if you bring in another dynamic guy like Kyler Murray and you put him with Saquon Barkley and Odell Beckham, I don't even know what that looks like. I mean, that becomes something it's a video game.
Hello?
So,
Hello? I was calling to make AAF picks. Are we making AAF picks this week?
I am watching the AAF. And Hackenberg is so
Arizona.
They benched him for Tyler Mettenberger.
It's
LSU great, isn't he?
How bad. It's amazing how bad Hackenberg is.
Sorry, Tristan.
And now Johnny Manziel has been banned from the country. A country has banned Johnny Manziel.
XFL. Johnny Manziel. XFL, Vince McMahon would have a field day with that.
I went to the Sun Devil Stadium last week to see Arizona. It was a good game.
The Hot Shots.
Yes, they have crazy colored jersey. It burns my eyes.
My shoes fell off. 516-572-7440.
My name is Sal Rosenberg.
Because these glasses I can't see. 516-572-7440. 516-572-7440. Don't listen to these guys. Listen to us. 516-572-7440. That's the number to call. So the Islanders won.
So you're all in on the Kyler Murray thing.
So I said around 10:30 we were just for the Giants. No.
You think the first and second pick?
I say,
and you think Bosa goes.
But I've been saying for years now because ever since I've seen Wentz and Goff's guys I never heard of in February.
He was better than Mayfield in that system. Remember that too.
And then guys last year, all of a sudden, quarterbacks rise to the top of the first round. It's just what happens.
I said that a few months ago to Tristan. I said no matter who the quarterback is. The team is always going to
Now, are these guys better than what was out there last year? No. What was there last year was better.
Can you imagine Bosa throwing to McCagnon again? No, that's like the fourth year in a row.
People are forgetting about how good Josh Rosen was, though, coming out of the draft last year. He
doesn't want to be there. He wants nothing to do with be there because Kingsbury didn't give him. I like what did the GM say today? He's our quarterback for now.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing. Him saying that, Steve Clem is his name, I think. He's the GM of the Cardinals. For him saying that, and then Gettleman with the Giants saying about, Kansas City did pretty well doing nothing. To me, that's GM speak because this time of year, it's all about illusion and you don't want to say anything.
That's like saying, how's your wife? Well, she's my wife for now. You know,
I mean,
that's a great endorsement for her when you get home.
You ought not say that.
I know for a fact.
Exactly. You never say that.
McCagnon was getting calls from guys who say, "Hey, I'm calling about the job." Yeah, the job.
But can you imagine, seriously though, if Bosa fell to the Jets, that's 4 years in a row now that the player falls to McCagnon, and McCagnon looks like a genius and goes, "Hey,
but what have they done with it?" McCagnon drafted Hackenberg in the second round.
You
can never use genius. And
when they did that, I was in. So I think we were at it was at my brother's bachelor party. We're watching on TV Cancun, and when they drafted Hackenberg, my brother laughed hysterically at me because my brother, with Wisconsin, my brother laughs at me and goes, "Ha ha, good luck with that pick."
All these years they talk about Tom Brady replacements and drafting the right guy. What's amazing is the Tom Brady replacement, the perfect Tom Brady replacement of the Patriots, is going to fall to them in Ryan Finley from North Carolina State, and they're going to get him in the second or third round.
Hopefully they keep him this time.
There's your Brady replacement.
Look at him pronouncing the whole state name.
North Carolina, NC State, yeah. But Jason Witten, a guy who should not have retired.
Hi, Tristan, you're back.
A guy who saw his records being beaten and knew that he could do better than that.
5 seconds for Tristan.
And a guy who was just not very good in the booth, and contrast him with his former teammate Tony Romo, who's very good in the booth. Mm-hmm. It was problematic. So Jason Witten's like, let me see. The Cowboys want and need me. The Cowboys are going to be very good with Dak Prescott and with Ezekiel Elliott.
And that defense.
I think I best go back to playing.
But now,
Cole
Beasley might be a Jet, so you never know.
Thing. Yes, he may have left a little bit too soon. He still had the bug. He still had the itch to go play and everything. But now, do you really put your body through all that punishment after a year of not playing because you left because of all the punishment just for the money? Now, or do you try to improve your new skill at the dream job that everybody wants to get, everybody covets coming out of that Monday night job. Everybody wants that coming. Every broadcaster wants to do that.
He wants a Super Bowl.
So he's not.
And
so
Jerry
when
Jones sold it.
So now when he does retire again,
we can't afford anything else.
When he does leave again for good, he's not going to have that option anymore. He's not going to be offered the dream job anymore.
And you talk about that defense, Tristan. Don't get so amped up about that Dallas defense. They lost two. I'm sorry.
Well,
that's two big guys. They just lost.
Well, they have to pay Lawrence, right? I mean,
that's too big. Because here's the problem now.
But that's why we're not going to get Lawrence.
Okay, but here's the problem now with Lawrence. And here's the thing: Lawrence is a good player. Here's the problem with Lawrence now. With those two out, because Gregory caused havoc, especially in the playoffs. You can out double team Lawrence. And let's see how Lawrence does with that.
But that's the thing.
That's going to be a big
But now
problem.
that Irvin and Gregory is gone,
Kellen Moore, baby, offensive coordinator.
Lawrence
Here we
is looking
go.
at Jerry Jones.
What a lazy hire. What a lazy hire.
Now it's time for you to
give
me my money.
What a lazy hire by the Cowboys. Kellen Moore, let's get him off the scrap heap. He'll be our offensive coordinator. That's good.
Because Lawrence knows that now that those two players, which were very big for that defense, is gone, they have to give him all the money because he's a star.
They don't have a choice. They're going to overpay for him. They're going to completely overpay for him.
But whoever gets him now is going to overpay for him.
They struck gold with Van Der Esch last year. I mean, they made a great draft. The guy,
it was good. Van Der Esch was awesome.
The great draft pick last year.
Oh yeah, he was a great. He went to the Pro Bowl this year.
Yeah,
they compared him.
They don't have a first round pick because they used it on trading for Amari Cooper.
Is CJ Mosley a free? I saw CJ Mosley as a free agent
from the Ravens.
Yeah,
I don't think
I'm intrigued by that.
Well, the Ravens have to sign T. Sizzle. They've got a Terrell Suggs issue.
They're the real T-Sizzle before you guys.
No, but
the older generation T-Sizzle.
They're older
I'm saying,
generation
how come?
T-Sizzle.
Listen, if CJ Mosley's a free agent,
we're not going to get him.
He's a top linebacker.
We're not going to get him.
Why do you say that?
There's no way we're going to get him.
Why do you say that?
Because we just signed Williamson. We're not going to trade for him because they already said that Williamson's here for a long term.
But they're 3-4.
No, they're not going to get. And then we put all our money into Darren Lee also for the 3-4 defense. Listen, Mosley is not coming to New York. We could just forget about that. Just definitely forget about that.
Watch it happen like next week.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
So do we think Nick Foles goes to Jacksonville?
I hope he doesn't.
Yes.
Well, where else needs a quarterback?
That's pretty much it right now. I mean, look, Denver just got Flacco.
They got Flacco.
Which also, I love Elway. Oh, Case is good. He's going to be our backup. And I like Keenum. Keenum is like.
Did you hear?
When did I say that?
Elway speaking sounded like a cowboy who smoked 3 packs a day.
Yes, he does.
I mean, it was like,
he doesn't even look healthy.
No, he looks like Sam Neill. It's like, oh my goodness, all right.
This man is Steve Summers.
It's like, wow.
No.
It's like, goodness. John Elway, you were a two-sport star.
Mark showed me a picture of Steve Summers on.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I put a post on my Twitter.
Stick to radio.
I don't need Summers on my screen, just on my radio.
The mausoleum.
Oh God.
The Jason Witten thing is
dark in
Jason
there.
Witten should have played another year and retired and gone to the booth this year. He did not.
Who's going for ESPN this year?
Now he's
Brett Favre.
But I thought the Monday Night Football ESPN thing was bad anyway. Also, once they moved to ESPN, they became irrelevant to me anyway. They weren't on ABC anymore.
Who takes over for him now? Who do they like?
ESPN Monday Night.
Well, they had terrible
right.
guys.
That's right.
They had Tessitore, who was horrible. They had Boogie.
They just got rid of Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson's out.
Booger McFarland.
Oh my God, that stupid Booger thing, Booger truck.
Moving down the card.
You know what my dad said? My dad were watching it again. My dad goes, Who decided to call the kid Booger?
And it's like,
he's so cute. Let's name him Booger.
I barely remember him as a
Booger. It's a boy Booger.
Here's the crazy thing. So the number one wide receiver in the draft right now is this kid Metcalf
from Arizona State.
I think Mississippi State was Arizona State.
There's the Arizona State kid. There's a Mississippi State kid.
I watched his grandfather play, and then his father and his
great grandfather.
No, his father in the 70s was Terry Metcalf, who was phenomenal. His father was Terrence Metcalf, who's a defensive guy. His uncle was Eric Metcalf, who was the best all-around running back, catching the ball, wide receiver, you name it. And he's the son of them,
and he's actually taller than all of them.
Right.
He's bigger.
And I'm like, I'm like, that's good bloodlines is what that is.
But the receiving core this year in the draft, the receiving core of the draft this year, they've said like low first, early second. That's what they've looked at.
There'll be a guy
tight ends have been a big
12.
talk this
There's
year.
going to be 2 Iowa tight ends in the first round. Iowa.
Yeah. I would say they're the big school of it.
Caller, you're on sports, the WHPC Sports Talk. How can we help you?
Hey, how you doing tonight, gentlemen?
Hello.
Hey, I like the Jerky Boy stuff, with Carl Rosenberg's glasses and all. But I got to tell you, man, you should really leave Steve Summers alone.
Wait, I love the Steve Summers.
I love Steve Summers.
I'm telling you, Steve Summers got a bigger following than y'all. I hate to tell you that.
Considering
What I mean?
paying him to be on the air, I would think that would be true. We're making as much money as you have in your pocket, sir. But anyway, I had a shortwave radio back in
Kevin's
college.
like, what just happened?
Pre for the internet.
What was that about?
So that's why you ought not make fun of a guy who does it for a living, because you get, what is fan short for? A fanatic.
I'm not discounting his work.
Listen, we love Steve Summers.
You get the hawker calling up.
First off, Mark and I.
Why is everyone calling about me? Everyone calls about me.
Years ago,
People don't
Mark
like you guys.
this.
You and your
Mark
brother-in-law. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Listen.
We've lost more listeners because of you two jerky boys.
Just fine until
I'm staying with these guys.
Oh, you mean the one?
Another guy called.
Fine, you two. I'm with them.
Sean told me.
Hi, fellas. What should we talk about?
I'm calling about the job. Yeah, I got experience.
I got a whole set of tools.
Yeah, I was going to say, hang up that phone, Chris. Hang up the phone, Chris.
The call's coming from inside the house.
Well, Lucy listens, Chris, because you can't put the phone back.
He didn't hang up. He's not on anymore. The guy was still hanging around. Hanging around. 516-572-7440. Anybody but that guy. 516-572-7440.
We can ban him. We got ways to ban people now.
Well, now I know Anonymous.
I mean, look, we're going to change the segment to 5 minutes.
He was calling nonstop with the piano man. And I'm like, I'm not picking up this phone. They're like, why not? I'm like, well, let's see. He's a racist. He's a sexist. He's a misogynist. He's a misogynist. He's like, do I want to pick up the phone? I don't think so. No.
He is what's the word?
And he was looking for free tickets. I was giving away on the Piano Man.
What's the
Piano Man Sundays 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Billy Joel Radio Show.
What's the
right here at 90.3 WHPC.
He is Islamophobia.
Yeah, his tickets are going on sale early for the September show. Yeah.
Billy Joel?
Billy Joel.
December 27th?
At the Garden.
At the Garden, the 1 month thing that he does.
Yeah, they're going on sale already.
This past weekend, tickets went on sale for Johnny Mathis at the Westbury Music Fair.
Yeah.
Johnny Mathis is 80-something years old.
Tony Bennett's still performing.
Hey, I saw Frankie Valli about a year ago. Took my mother for her birthday.
Well, my in-laws went to, after their prom, went to see Johnny Mathis back in the day. After the prom, back in the city, people go to like Caroline's and stuff. Back then, they went to the Copa and saw Johnny Mathis. And now,
who was the maitre d' the Copa?
So I wrote it was Goodfellas. So I watched. So I watched. So the other day, I saw this pre-sale. So I sent my mother-in-law an email like, here at pre-sale. But they're doing this snowbird thing this summer this winter for the first time ever, where all their neighbors went down to Florida for like 2 months or whatever. So my father-in-law thought he'd try it. My mother-in-law is miserable down there. They're spending like 4 weeks down there. She's miserable. And she was inventing a reason. Because my son's birthday's Sunday. I'll come up for the birthday. It's like, yeah, you spend $2,000 to fly up for the birthday. You know what? Give him $2,000 for his birthday. Save that money. It's miserable. And so my father-in-law just went to book for next year. She's like, over my dead body. We're not booking this for next year.
You know, I realized who has a residency too. Jerry Springer has a residency. I think.
Former mayor of Cincinnati.
No. Jerry Seinfeld. Sorry.
Oh yeah, he does at the Beacon, which is owned by the Dolans.
Yes.
But
so the three offers came out about what was offered to Harper. The Dodgers actually gave him a choice.
Well, that makes sense.
It was 3 years, $135, or 4 years, $168. The Giants offered 12 for $310, and the Phillies did 13 for $330.
$42 million a year.
Yeah.
How about 3 for $135?
So that's carry the one.
That's still over 40 million.
Yeah, that's 45.
Jeez, man.
That's 45. So 45
million. A lot of
million.
average annual money guaranteed.
You know what's rather interesting about that? So he gets offered $45 million per on the 3-year deal, 42 on the 4th year. What do you think? That 4th year was going to drop off? It's like all of a sudden he's going to drop off. And
but see, that's the thing. They may be looking long term because after those 3, even let's say he took the 3-year deal.
Yep.
After that contract is up. Is there a guarantee that he was going to get another long-term deal after that? Probably not.
They don't. What's the new word, the phrase they use is bet on yourself. He didn't bet on himself.
Chris, I want to apologize if we've lost listeners.
I don't. It's interesting because that it's about the money. It's really it's
always about the money.
It's Harper. Where do they go? Also, the 2 highest bidders.
Also, the agents. Yeah,
highest bidders.
That's about the agents.
Corbin. Where did Corbin go? The highest bidder. He's always a Yankee fan.
The agent gets between 5 to 10% of the deal.
What did Corbin get? 6.5 for $160.
Now Scott Rowland once was offered $161 by the Phillies, and he went and took 71 with the Cardinals, which was always a weird thing.
How about J.D. Drew when he got drafted by the Phillies and he went back?
But you have to. One thing you also have to think about when you're a player, and no one does this, but they do, but they don't. You got to think about other players. Because if the one guy who becomes the exception to the rule and takes the less money does hurt the other guys because they go and use it against them. Well, he took less money.
Why can't you? Yeah. Exactly.
Those Phillies had a little bit of a team.
Messes up the
they
market.
had Scott Rowland. They had Jim Thome. They had
Doug Glanville.
They had Kurt Schilling.
They always fishing last.
Kurt Schilling.
They had a pretty good catcher.
Who's the catcher?
Mike Lieberthal.
Yeah,
they had a good team.
Hey, he's part of the team.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Then they signed Jim Thome.
Well, he had the name. Then
they signed Jim Thome as a free agent.
The Grady Little managing them. Well, they want to. Now, here's the thing: the Phillies have been around 135 years. They are the losingest team in baseball history. They've been around 135 years. You know how many World Series titles they've won in 135 years? Two.
Uno.
That's Uno.
Numero uno.
The last time they were what? They were the ones at the 09 World Series that the Yankees beat them.
Yep.
Excuse me, he is part of the team. I looked it up. It said it didn't just say it on Wikipedia. It said it in the scripture.
Who was part of it?
That's his mother.
What?
Yeah,
Let me go my Wikipedia.
Wikipedia love to write that stuff. Oh, he's one of us. No,
it says it. It says Lieberthal was born in Glenville and is part of the team.
Well, the manager of the Phillies, who is a member of the said tribe, Mr. Gabe Kapler, he and Bryce Harper are not going to get along at all.
No.
In fact, but now that's easy because they'll be able to fire Gabe Kapler because of what happened with the Dodgers. Did you see what happened with the Dodgers with the whole sexual assault?
Dave Roberts?
No. Gabe Kapler.
No.
Gabe Kapler was a minor league manager with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
It's
really bad.
So they'll go and it's odd, is what it is. They'll go and do something from that, and because Gabe Kapler.
That was the first thing I thought when they signed him. I said first off that year,
Gabe Kapler and Bryce Harper will not get along.
No, because Gabe Kapler is all about hustle.
Now, if they want to get Gabe Kaplan, that would be great. They could welcome back Cotter and do that.
Gabe Kapler's all about hustle, try first, play hard, and
Gabe Kaplan.
Do that.
Gabe Kaplan has been a caller to the show several times.
If Gabe Kapler gets fired, there's a guy down the road from here who's available.
As a manager?
Yeah.
For the Phillies?
Yeah.
Who?
Wally Backman.
Wally Backman in the Me Too generation is not going to be signed by anybody.
He had his one opportunity.
But no, he's saying me. What about me?
Wally Backman was hired by the Arizona Diamondbacks, okay? Yeah. But he did one stupid thing. He didn't sign his contract. Okay? So he doesn't sign his contract. So the next thing gets out about him and the wife or girlfriend gets out about him in Oregon, whatever, and they rescind the offer. Wonderful. If he signed the contract, they'd have to pay him in full.
Yeah. That special he had was good. The playing with Peanuts thing, that was cool.
That was the guy, John Fitzgerald, who made that video. He was on the show several times because he's my really godfather. Well, late May, recipe, my godfather's nephew or whatever. So he was on several times.
It's Me Too movement. Does that Wally Backman saying, hire me too? Hire me too?
Who would the first next manager be then? Like, who would...
Oh, well, who's their AAA manager? Look up to see what's the AAA Phillies. Is that Scranton Wilkes-Barre?
No, Lehigh Valley.
Lehigh Valley? Look to see who the Lehigh Valley manager is. Actually, look to see who Bryce Harper wants is the answer.
Yeah.
Lenny Dykstra. No.
Lenny Dykstra. Don't get him an Uber. Don't get him an Uber.
Kevin.
He's got new teeth, though.
Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs.
There you go.
I remember my dad told me at first. My dad met like a couple years ago in Chase when they were back when they did the pre-sale tickets. You would wait online in the morning before all the machines and everything, and you would wait to buy it. And the players would come and late that should go to that. Hey guys, how's it going? And my dad's like, oh my god, this guy must be on loads of drugs right now.
I was.
You know who the manager is?
Tristan, are you
Gary
sleeping?
Jones.
I'm here. Gary Jones was a hitter back in the... Yeah, he was a pretty decent hitter back in the 80s and 90s.
Tristan, we're missing you tonight.
No, you want to World Series? Listen, I know when to step my foot in and step out. I'm letting you guys take the lead.
He was so high off of last week, Chris, that he talked a lot.
This is definitely my
we talked Jets. I love hear the name that they call the combine. What the like the derogatory term for the combine is?
What?
The Underwear Olympics.
Oh yeah,
that's what the players call it. And it is true.
Because you're in shorts and t-shirts the whole time.
It's so odd to watch. It's
but they're not wearing Under Armour anymore.
You're in shorts and t-shirts. You're not wearing pads or anything, and that's all they really rate you on.
How about Mel Kiper? This is apparently his first ever time he's ever allowed in the combine.
Because ESPN wasn't allowed at the combine.
Why all of a sudden now?
Because they've realized it's become good business for the NFL to have ESPN. And ESPN's doing a 2-hour show on Saturday, 1 to 3, I think it is, for this. So
Mel Kiper and Todd McShay.
Is Murray throwing? They're saying he's not.
Murray's not throwing.
Hey,
No.
Todd McShay, Dave Portnoy's classmate.
But what's interesting is that the NFL, their draft guy was always who? Mike Mayock.
Yeah,
what's Mike Mayock doing now? He's the GM of the Oakland Raiders.
And it's Gruden making the decision, but Mayock is there because he knows all the scouting and he knows all the.
So you got that going on. So the NFL Network has now 2 draft experts: Bucky Brooks, who I find he's a guy who just wants to go viral. He throws crazy stuff out there, and a guy named Daniel Jeremiah who's making all the rounds of all the various talk shows to say, "I'm the new guy. Listen to me. I'm the new guy." But you got Kiper and McShay over on ESPN, and then NFL.com has a guy named Chad Reuter. He's pretty good as well.
I think of last year when they had Aikman. So every time a quarterback would be taken, oh, I love the Darnold pick. Oh, the Mayfield pick, wonderful. The Rosen pick. The Josh Allen pick, well, I'm a little questionable about that.
They all have numbers on
like,
them.
Man.
When they do you know how what the numbers mean?
It's the grading.
They go alphabetically by your last name. So Josh Allen would have QB1 because he's Allen is his last name, so he's QB1.
Now, are there sponsor deals on that? Do people get sponsored for the combine?
No.
Under Armour doesn't get anything at all.
No,
well, Under Armour does.
They're finished. They're almost finished on Under Armour.
Yeah, they paid for it, and now they've got some things going on with scandals too, as well with the TV lady with the CEO.
Stephen Curry took a bad deal.
Well, yeah, they got out of several deals with college teams as well. So
because nobody wants to wear stretchy clothes anymore.
They're called compression shirts.
There's too many stretchy clothes, I mean.
They're compression shirts. Caller, you are on WHPC Sports Talk. Hello.
What's going on, guys? It's Kevin from Queens. What's going on?
What's that? Oh? What? Out? All right, there you go. All right, so the phone went K-wire. Anyway, this is WHPC Sports Talk every Thursday evening, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. 100% commercial free. Would love to talk with Tristan Hamilton, Kevin Boston Hill, Mark Tchaikovsky, Josh Silverberg. I am Chris Maldini, and we're here every Thursday evening.
I'm the guy that makes viewers go bye-bye. Listeners.
Well, calling them viewers might help, too.
Listeners. Oh, Chris, you're lucky there's a table. You're lucky there's a table.
Yes, I'm lucky that I corrected you on radio for calling them viewers. So this is the BHPC Sports Talk.
Blasphemy.
We do this every...
Thursday.
Really? Okay, gotcha. All right, there you go.
Under the table news, but anyway.
So we've talked Witten, we've talked Celtics, we've talked Jets, we've talked Giants, we've talked Yankees, talked Mets. We haven't talked about undercooked chicken.
Poor Brandon, he was so excited about it. He said that to his wife.
I thought
he was so excited about it.
I think that's the number one that just goes to show in spring training. There's no news, so that becomes
right.
Number two. In this day and age,
this time until March
we've all had food poisoning.
Yes.
We've all had undercooked chicken.
Oh yeah.
We've never referred to it as being undercooked chicken. The fact that they made this a story was just because it's the Mets.
It's
and they want
Mets.
It's the
That's
same old LOL
funny.
Mets. Let's laugh at the Mets. Blah 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 blah. But meanwhile, Brendan Nemo is the happiest guy on the face of the earth. He's always smiling.
This is dead until March Madness rolls around. That's
all you need to know is if you read the various, they give access to certain players during the spring. So every day, if you read back when people read newspapers, but you'll see the stories, every one of the major papers in the New York area will have the same guy. So it's like, today it's a Nimmo story. Okay, tomorrow it's we've got a Sabathia story. Okay, tomorrow it's a Tanaka story. And it's who they give access to on that day. So you'll read the same story 3 times, and that's how it happens in the spring. And that's what we got basically. Just waiting for, and you'll hear the story about at this stage of the game, hitters are ahead of the pit. No, pitchers are ahead of hitters right now. Well, they are because hitting's all timing,
right?
And that's going to happen. So if you're facing a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, your timing's not there. You've been on the couch for a weekend,
unless you're a Tulowitzki,
right? But the Tulowitzki thing is odd because he still is not playing in real games. It's spring training, and they're sitting him every 2 games. So he'll play, sit for 2 days, he'll play. I mean, he had the exact same surgeries that Cespedes. Wake up, Tristan. That he had the same surgery.
What I didn't realize, and sorry to cut you off, is that I never saw what Doc Rivers did for Dirk Nowitzki at the game. Did you guys see what he did? When he called the timeout, he picked up a microphone, made Dirk Nowitzki come off the bench, and he said a little something during the game. It was like 9 seconds left, and Dirk Nowitzki came on the court, and everybody stood up. And
I was saying wake up because I was mentioning Cespedes. That's what I was saying.
No, you going totally different sport.
You just out yourself.
No, I'm saying because I didn't say
And tonight we have 5 minutes of Tristan discussion by.
Do we think Nowitzki is retiring this year?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, yeah. This
He's
is
done.
last
He's
year.
done.
He's
about to cry in
I don't know.
L.A.
I could see him convinced to play another year.
I think he's
Hey,
done.
can they put him in the All-Star game?
If you saw how he was laboring in the All-Star game, I think he's done.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, the guy's never had to play defense his whole career, so why start now?
I don't know, Chris. You gotta ask Rick Carlisle about that one.
If he wants him around.
Yeah, it's like
Did you see Don, the guy who brought Nowitzki to the
Brad?
Did you see Don Nelson? What he looks like today?
Oh my God!
He's got long hair,
the full goatee,
smoking pot like 3 times a day. Some
Did you
crazy
see how
kind of-
excited Jason Richardson got on that?
Well,
he's a member of the
What was
Grateful
it? Steven
Dead.
Jackson,
Yeah, exactly.
Jason Richardson got so excited by that comment.
But it gets funny with regards to Nowitzki. Nowitzki was traded to the Mavericks. He was part of the Robert. They called him tractor trailer because he weighed over 300 pounds. Robert Tractor Trailer. So the two announcers are broadcasting the game, and they're talking about that deal. And Pat Garrity from Notre Dame was in that deal and everything. And they laughed. They're like, "Oh, look at this guy. He's still playing. I wonder what Tractor Trailer's up to right now." And the other guy's like, "Oh, probably playing in some 40-year-old YMCA league." All right. Tractor Trailer died 7 years ago playing in Puerto Rico because it's like so they had to come back later on. We had forgotten that Robert Trailer had passed away. We didn't mean to insult him.
Yeah, now you got to apologize.
Oh, was that Mark?
It's like,
He's a big boy.
yeah, he was a big boy. He was a huge kid. Big fat guy. His nickname was Tractor Trailer. But just the fact that they're each trying to like have their hot takes live on the air. Oh, probably playing some over 40 YMCA league. Oh, he's dead.
Hey, Kenan Thompson, the French scene, and all that.
And even their unapology was bad. It's like, just say you screwed up and trying to be funny. You wanted to be funny, and you were an idiot, and you were trying to be funny, and that's what happened there. And we had forgotten that he passed away. You'd forgotten that, right? You've forgotten that. Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay. Terrific. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, well, make a joke. And they're all trying to top each other with the joke. That's great. WHPC Sports Talk every Thursday evening, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. NCC Forum is on, 3:30 on Thursday afternoons?
3:30 Thursday afternoons, correct.
There you go. You can hear Kevin Boston Hill with that on 3:30 every Thursday afternoon. And Piano Man is on every Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. You can hear me this Sunday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. The Billy Joel Radio Show. It's called Piano Man. So what do we want to say as we got couple of minutes before we start the closing music? Any thoughts? Do you want to alienate any other listeners out there, guys? Any?
No. Just to say that the Nets have been struggling.
Old ladies, they're slow.
I'm not laughing.
Driving around with their blinkers on.
They're matzo ball, soup ball driving.
Oh, there you go. You went ethnic. Thanks. I was painting with a broad brush. You're going,
Mark had to hit the target. Go ahead, Mark.
The comments of our people are not
just
necessarily.
I can say it about myself. Other people can't say it.
You're not an old lady.
Actually, one time I was working in a school district.
Oh, here we go.
I was working in a school district, right? And there was a board member that came in, and I referred to the superintendent as you mean the old lady that came in? And I didn't know she was a school board member.
That's why you're in security now.
No,
you make Kim stay for that comment.
I need you to explain how Bed Bath & Beyond doesn't even sell beds.
Online only.
They're called Bed Bath & Beyond. Where's the beds? Do you sell baths? Do you sell Beyond? I don't know.
Hey, listen, their employees are.
Yeah. Why do we park in a park, drive in a park, on a parkway, and park in a driveway? Why?
Oh God!
Right? I don't know.
Oh,
how do you think I ring the doorbell? Just the punchlines, everybody.
Don't bring your kids to Bed Bath & Beyond.
Mark.
Oh, Mark.
I gotta tell you, how long were you here for?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
he had to get his money's
we
worth.
were doing just fine until
Chris, what did you say last week?
Best show ever.
if Woody had gone straight to the police.
This would never have happened. Thank you for that quote. No one ever gets that. You have no idea what that quote is. It's from Woody Woodpecker.
Yep.
And it was always when you do a story, something bad goes on. So merely the moral of the story is, if Woody had gone straight to the police department, this never would have happened because if something happens after the fact, they just go straight.
Can I add to our conversation about?
I quote that all the time.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Hey, listen, is Green Book a Christmas movie?
You ought not mention Green Book. That's very controversial. It's like,
I know. Is it
really?
Is it a Christmas movie?
I don't know. I've never seen the movie. I don't know.
Did you see it?
I haven't seen it yet.
No,
I didn't see it.
You know why it's controversial, right?
Yeah.
I saw it. We can feel good about ourselves now. Well, that's what bothered me about. Kim, I want you to play Sun City on Sunday Road on Saturday.
Okay.
Because everyone is celebrating Queen. Everyone's celebrating Queen. I'm like, they played Sun City. People seem to forget that. Like, everyone's celebrating Lady Gaga. It's like, she made millions with R. Kelly when everyone knew that R. Kelly was up to no good.
Right.
It's like, hello, stop celebrating these people.
What's wrong?
Do you know what Sun City was?
What's wrong with a little bump and grind, you know? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Hey, Queen's my favorite band, so you know.
Look up Sun City and what that was. Yeah.
But,
are you going to ruin it for me?
Oh, it should.
No,
Yeah.
I'd rather not look it up then.
Yeah.
about the Green Book winning the Oscars.
Chris, I'd rather not go that. Chris, I'll let that train pass and take the next train then.
It was a good movie, but very cliched. You knew what was going to happen during the movie.
Okay, what was
Tristan, why are you laughing at him for?
What? Oscars?
We're talking Oscars?
And the Oscar goes to?
Oscar the Grouch.
That actually was just on the air.
Well, it's kind of funny. You know, Spike Lee had a lot of things to say, and the next thing you know, that shows up on the internet, 8,000 pictures of him and Trump hanging out and laughing. It's like, oh my God.
He finally won an Oscar, and then he gets all upset. That movie should have won.
It's like, be careful. You know, the internet keeps everything.
Yep.
You know, it's like just. Yeah.
At least the Knicks were brought up during the Oscars.
The Knicks?
The Knicks. Yeah, they won
Yeah, they actually mentioned them.
Jackson mentioned them, and Spike Lee goes, "We're tanking."
They hadn't won at home since December 1st.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Yep.
So, so let's start the closing music before Riley with FM Punk gets in here right now. All right, Josh.
All right, really quickly, shout out to my fiance. Tomorrow's her birthday, so happy birthday, Melissa.
Happy birthday to Pisces. All these beautiful people.
Action-packed Nets and Islanders weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We had another great Black History Month. We're gearing up for Women's History Month when we come back. So we have some good things in store for you.
Everybody have a great night. Drive safely.
Don't fall asleep.
And I will see you next Thursday.
If you get a chance, look up on Black History Month a famous person every day when they have the little historical snippets. Really educational stuff you learn about what was done and invented and the like. I'm Chris Muldoon. Sunday, 4 p.m. Piano Man right here. And Connor's 13th birthday this Sunday, by the way. Kids, make you feel old. All right, bye, buddy. We'll see you there. Thanks for letting us your ears.